All right. Good morning, fellow tacklers. Welcome to the Tackle Edition show, Diaspora. Karibuni sana. We sincerely apologize. We were not on air last week for technical reasons, but we are glad to be back with you guys today. Karibuni sana. We have a great morning for some. Others, for some of us, it's evening. For others, it's actually afternoon. So as usual, before we start the show and before we start our discussion today, let's have a word of prayer and then we'll begin. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this gracious moment that we have come together as a people, as Kenyans, to discuss matters pertaining to where we are and who we are as a people, and also to uplift and make sure that we can discuss issues that are pertaining to our country and how we can make it a better living place for all of us. Guide us in our discussion today. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, gentlemen. Unfortunately, I don't have any ladies, but I hope they will join us shortly. Karibuni sana. I hope you had a wonderful, almost 2 weeks now. Thank you for the involuntary break, but karibuni sana. Guys, wanted to kick off the show by starting talking. This is a diaspora show. So let's start talking about diaspora issues first. And then we'll roll over to current events in the country, and then other issues will follow that. So, Bwana Keja, let me start with you. We have the DV lottery starting. It's already started. What can you tell Kenyans about it?
This is what you're going to do. Munanisikiza?
Yep.
Okay, so if you're going to do the DV lottery, make sure the website you're using is .gov. If you need help, don't anybody charge you anything. Don't anybody mtu asikwambie nini. Look for the tacklers. The tacklers will help you. Me, Keja, I'm here. Kuna Joel, and any of your friends in the US in how to fill it up. Usikujo danganywe sijui ni how much. Yep. Yeah. So apart from that, now let's start to the promises that we were told about diaspora representation. Mm-hmm. When it comes to diaspora representation, right now we are dealing with. If anybody knows who Big Ted is, Big Ted, one of the big industry guys, is right now a very big U.S. consulate in the LA. We are doing talks with him so that in how to expand how diaspora is gonna do bigger things and be represented. But he needs our support as diasporans, especially in the U.S. He will need you people. This moment he's gonna be doing a month tea or coffee online, our skize, mwanze kuskiza, and then start consoling. Let us start consoling each other, and at least that is one way we're gonna start consoling and making these problems that we've been having, especially in the diaspora, especially in the US. Unajua nyinyi pengine nyinyi wengine Euro amjuangi. You know, like for me to go to DC is like 6 hours. I have to go and get I have to get a flight. I have to get a hotel. I have to 2-day hotel. Hotel ni kama at least $300 a night.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to do passport or anything. And that's a big deal. It's a big deal, especially for the people when you come to. I'll give you an example. When it came to voting to diaspora was costing at least, especially in the US, average cost was $1,000 to $2,000.
That's a lot of money
just to go and vote. That's wangapi. So you're giving me 2 trips. Number 1 to go and register. Number 2 to go and vote. Mm-hmm. That was not fair. It wasn't nice. And if Dr. Ruto, our new president, is going to address that, those are some of the few things he's going to address. I don't know what the situation in Europe or other places is, but to us it was a big deal. And this time, diasporans, please do not sleep. We have to start speaking loud, and we have to start speaking very, very loud.
Mm-hmm.
It's about time. It's about time. It's about time. And thank you, man. Thank you, Mutuskize.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mutuskize, because number one, I'll tell you, number one, diasporans are the lost breed. If you have a green card, for example, if you have a green card, you don't have a choice to vote in America.
Yeah.
You still have to struggle to vote in Kenya. We are in this lost inaitwaje?
No man's land.
Yeah, we are in no man's land. We need a place. We need a house. We need a county. We need a voice. And we need leaders to keep us. Because we are this desperate, but the family that provides a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We give so much, but you don't see the results. Anyway, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Bwana Keja. Hey, Bwana Kip, let me come to you. Same question, diaspora. Talk about the posting in the PS positions. And also, by the way, just to mention, maybe you and Africa can answer that question. I saw somebody posting something about job recruitment agency for Australia. And somebody else responded and said, no, that's fake. How do people decide what is actually genuine and what is not in your corner of the world?
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that question. And good morning, Kenyans, and afternoon, good night for those who are. I can see our friend Bernard. It's midnight. Thank you for joining. Now, today I'll be addressing you about, diaspora issues and especially representation. Remember, Kenya Kwanza government was so big, and even the Azimio was so big on issues affecting the diasporans. And it's for a reason. Look, according to statistics from, World Bank and even the Kenyan Central Bank, Kenyans in diaspora every month send Kenya about 40 to 50 billion. I think the highest at the moment is around 43 billion. So a billion, not million, Kenya shillings a month. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money. Now, you've seen what the Kenya Kwanza government has done for the diaspora people. They've given us, at some point they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a representation. So at some point I thought we're gonna have a member of parliament representing the diaspora or something like that. But it looks like we are not even getting full-fledged diaspora, what is it called? The ministry. Mm-hmm. Instead, we have the so-called Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs ministry. Now, that's not really bad because it looks like diaspora, we're going to get a permanent secretary position that deals with the issues of diaspora. And I hope under that permanent secretary, we have also CASS, if that would be legal, of course, is subject to, some legalities. Now, what are the facts? It's not no doom and gloom. Facts are the current nominee for, CS diaspora is Alfred Mutua. This is the guy who has lived in 3 countries and worked in 3 countries in diaspora. He lived in America, he lived in Australia and Middle East. So at least he got a taste of all those sides. And I hope he still remembers the feeling of, being asked to send money because a child at home is sick, a neighbor is sick, somebody died, somebody has been bitten by a dog. Can you imagine? We send money for that. or someone is giving birth. These are the things that Kenyan people don't know that we support our people on. And sometimes, they don't acknowledge that. We in fact, most of us do even more than member of parliament. We were having conversations before, the start of the show, and a lot of us have, burials to contribute to about 5-6 average Arambes for the kids to go to school. Some of us have had increased number of relatives. Some actually we don't know them, but they are our relatives. So I'm not complaining, it's a blessing, but we have to really look at the reality. So diaspora issues are bigger. Now, like I said earlier, Alfred has lived here. We're gonna have a permanent secretary. But what are the main issues affecting the diaspora people? Of course, work. We all go out there for work, but there are many different categories of people going to diaspora. There are those who are skilled and non-skilled. I feel bad for non-skilled because those are the people who are now going to, not all of them, but some, especially domestic workers. That's the non-skilled. Even though if you are skilled and trained, for some reason they categorize you as non-skilled, which is sad because those people have skills. And, and I hope, they get trained before they go out there. That way it's gonna be easy for them to adopt. But so we have issues with work identification, looking for jobs, job placement, training, and stuff like that. How are we going to tackle that? Do we tackle that where in the countries where we're going, or we tackle that in Kenya, job-ready training? So I hope the ministry is going to look at that. We have also issues to do with insurance. A lot of Kenyans have passed away, especially in Middle East. To transport someone is 30,000 from Australia dollars. That's about 3 million Kenyan shillings. It is very expensive to repatriate someone. So we need to make sure that the Kenyan people in diaspora have insurance for health and for whenever an eventuality happens. Those are the things that we really need the ministry to address. There's also the issues of remittances. They're very expensive, but those are the things to deal with the banks and international organizations, something beyond us. But the things that are, within our reach, we need to talk about those things. We need to discuss. We need to be consulted. We are not going to be lucky at this time around. And I think it's about time we take the word, the doorsteps of the ministries that, the last time Uhuru government was in, we were given ministry, the presidential unit to deal with diaspora issues. And they gave someone we all know. Nothing happened. Nothing materialized, you see. So the remittances issues, there is also another issue that a lot of people have never talked about, and that's the retirement. Most of us here are going to be wazee. We are not going to be young. We are in 40s now. By the time, in the next 20 years, some of us are going back home. Now, is there any way we're going to be reintegrating well within the Kenyan society? Are we able to cope, or we're going to have to suffer again? So those are the things that we need the ministry to address, to look into, and do a bigger research about these issues. The other thing, so when it comes to retirement, right? Retirement, a lot of us, I worked in America. I had Social Security. I left America 10 years ago. That money never followed me. That was a lot of money. I worked almost 10 years. That's a lot of money. On average, it can be around 80 or 50 or 30. Regardless, even if it's $5,000, that's 5 million, right? That's a lot of money. So we have also, Kenyan government has to look into, because I realized Australia and America have this arrangement where I'll be able to get my retirement money whenever I move countries. Why is Kenyan government not doing the same? So it's about time we actually work hard for the people who are sending a lot of money to Kenya. Those Kenyans who are the so-called non-skilled migrants, when they go home after they've been beaten, they are suffering. Their investments are gone in Kenya. They are not there. And also they have no income whatsoever. how are we going to protect them? I think it's about time we must have something called mandatory contribution. Whenever you go outside there, you contribute 10% of your whatever you're earning to certain kitty. That kitty is for your retirement, or whenever you go home, you can have an early access with conditions. These are the things that we can all sit down and can actually come up with. So I hope somebody is listening, and I hope we can continue this conversation. I'm sorry to take a lot of time. I had a lot to share, but I'm just going to stop it there.
All right. Thank you so much, Kip. You see, this is why you're the policy guy. We always come back to you for policy issues. But thank you so much for your contribution. Bwana Alfred, I know you are about to get to an appointment. Let me give you a chance to give your views on diaspora challenges. What do you see with the PS appointment? Where are we going?
Thank you, Chairman. I think Kipchumba has summarized quite a number of things that I would like to mention. And like you said, we are privileged to have some policy people like Kipchumba that we can refer to. Just to mention that people in diaspora, for quite a long time, we've been disadvantaged because, we do the most part, but the government doesn't recognize our efforts. And also, to be sincere, ARAMA, as well as the government is not doing much for us, what are we exactly doing as the people from diaspora? Are we pushing enough? If I see whoever speaks here on this forum, we are just but the same guys. And I will tell you, every moment I receive the link to join in, I share with my friends. But of course, they are busy doing their things. If you don't want to come to the table and present the issues that is pressing before you, who do you expect to do it for you? I am here because I'm advocating for my rights. I am here because I want to speak out that I'm nimefinywa na kiatu. And I'm here also to forge ahead and forge for things that will give me a better future. But if someone else who is sitting there, who is in diaspora and doesn't want to join in, to put more effort, put more voice, and of course, show that we're actually having this issue, then it will be a mark time, to be sincere. And politicians don't care, man. I will tell you for free. I have a lot of friends. I am partially a politician myself. Politicians don't care so long as part of their interest has been covered. You wewe utaruka mpaka upende Yesu ni Bwana na hakuna vitu utafanya if you don't have real people pushing it for you. Secondly, ARAMA, is that as we speak currently, there is a Kenyan, a very immediate neighbor back home whom we lost in Canada. But at the end of the day, it is the family and friends who are contributing towards the repatriation of the body.
Yes.
It has been so in many other countries, even here in Australia. We normally do the most part as friends and Kenyan community. Quite often, what we normally get from the mission is just a letter to prove that this is a body going to Kenya, but nothing much from the government in terms of support, in terms of finance, in terms of theirs is just paperwork. I think it is now upon us and the Kenyan government and the people will be coming to the ministry to now stipulate and make laws to prove that what exactly are we going to be doing for the people in diaspora? Because these are the people who contribute more. It's like in Kenya where now they are saying they're subsidizing fertilizer because agriculture is one of the backbone of our country. I will tell you, like Kipchumba said, 40 billion a month is something you would want. You know, hata ng'ombe ile inatoa maziwa bwana, unanunulia maziwa, ukiona iko na inatembea ikilimba hivi, umeita daktari haraka ikuje aone kama ako na shida. The government should be focusing more effort on diaspora because this is where they get the money. The MPs are jumping up and down. They want an increase in their salary. Where is the money from? Remittance from diaspora and the taxes that comes in with it.
Yeah.
So this is the area whereby the lot of effort would have been put in. The government would have focused on, seeing how the Kenyan in diaspora are firing on, and what are the laws that is governing us. Another thing is the issue of social security is a very big issue that actually needs to be addressed, because once you leave Australia, if you are an Australian and you've been away for a long time, there are things that you will lose as an Australian citizen when you go away in terms of your retirement benefits, and also the issue on the issue of your on your health network Medicare.
Yes.
So you have to be actually coming in to the country and also servicing it in terms of making sure that it is up to date, so that you don't lose that privilege.
Mm-hmm.
But in Kenya, when everything huko tu ni Yesu Bwana tulinda na utusamee na utuokoe kwa shida zote ambayo tuko, because we don't have things to guide us through in that regard. And I hope now the person coming in, let us give a benefit of doubt that now that the diaspora affairs was not there before, it is here. Hopefully something even at a minimal would change. And mine is to just call upon our brothers and sisters wherever they are. Let us not always just be busy. We also have to handle our issues and put our foot forward to fight for our liberation. You will go back to history, and nowadays we normally have history charging us right, because when you go back to 1963, we still talk about Jomo Kenyatta fighting for the independence. So if you don't want to fight for your own rights now, who would you want to fight for your rights if you yourself don't want to put in an effort? As we finalize the ARAMA, the issue on the issue also should go also to our counties. I have personally pushed for a Sengishu, and they have gazetted the position of a CEO, the position of a CEO in the county to represent diaspora. That is one of the achievements that I would pride myself in. Been pushing it for the last 2 years. I personally spoke to the governor. He has been doing it online, and to report the good news is that we have a position of diaspora engagement and linkages at the Uasin Gishu County. I spoke the same to the governor of Nandi. I hope within his CEO position, he would also mention or actually give a position to the diaspora, because that was part of his agenda and part of his things that he wanted to fulfill when he got into office in 2017. So let us also push in our different and respective counties for that position, so that also once we have the national one, we can also have the county part working with us together, and it will be a good start. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bwana Alfred. Okay, we'll go next to Bwana Umbui. I know you've been waiting patiently. Let me give you a chance. We are starting with diaspora challenges and issues, and the position for PS. What's your take? Where do we go?
Thank you, Chairman Joel ARAMA, for giving me this opportunity. I don't have much to say. I know I'm a diaspora, but I don't have much to say because we've been talking about these issues over and over again. Mm-hmm. But what I can assure the diaspora people is that don't have high expectations. I have to be honest to you guys. Mm-hmm. I always advise the diaspora people to work together as a community, as a society. Where you live, join those community groups from Kenyans, because that's where you will get help first. If you indeed you are participating in those communities. Mm-hmm. If, for instance, you die, God forbid, or I die, the community around me, if I have been actively participating, like the benevolent groups, then they can raise funds to take my body back home. On other issues about what Kipchumba was saying about retirement, I can guarantee you that this government will do nothing about your retirement. Even those people who are working in Kenya, some of them, even though they have some retirement pension funds, some of them have been struggling years to get their pensions. So what I can advise you is, you are strong, you are young people, and other people in the diaspora, please invest. That's the free advice I can tell you. Invest, buy shares, buy lands in Kenya, do real estate investments. If you do that, you will not even need the pension. If you have enough income, you will not even remember pension. But if you are expecting this government that is not even able to keep up with the Kenyans in Kenya to meet their needs, their services, I can guarantee you, we will keep on fighting. I am not saying that we give up. We will keep on fighting. But I can guarantee you that we shall be here next time, another 5 years, speaking the same language over and over again. So let us, as the diaspora people, let us come together. The money we send back home is a lot, but we don't send it as a block. You send it to your family, I send to my family. But can we send this money as a block to a diaspora organization in Kenya and be able to invest in real estate? I saw a YouTube video where some Sudanese guys in America have come together and they've invested
in Kenya.
That's marvelous. Yes, they've invested in a real estate, in an estate where it has all facilities, social amenities. We can do the same. In fact, I'm studying a diaspora circle from this end, and we are a few people who have come together, and we want to start working on that so that we can invest for our retirement. So that's what I can advise the people in the diaspora. But even if you fight the government for your rights, trust me, it is going at a snail pace. Our age is not waiting. We are growing old. I came here when I was young. Now I am not the age I was 10 years back. So let us come together, share ideas, invest. The little you get, invest. I know there are some people even in the Middle East who send money back home to their relatives to save for them, or to go and bank the money in their bank accounts for them. Once they get back home, they can start business. But when they go home, they find nothing. Their relatives have squandered their money. Another thing, we for sure, let me assure you again, the issue of the ministry, I told you before when Ruto came into power, and immediately after he came into power, there is no way the diaspora people, you are going to get an autonomous ministry. And this one, which is a foreign and the diaspora, that's just to blackmail you, that is concerned about you. But in the real sense, it's not gonna change things the way you expect. So I am concerned about especially the girls who go to the Middle East, especially Saudi Arabia. I saw a video recently where a lady went to work in Saudi Arabia, they say after getting a baby 2 months old, and the employer realized this lady still has milk in her breasts, and he decided to force her to feed her puppies or his puppies. What kind of life is that? You see, those are the things we need the government. Me, I'm not even interested with the government helping me here in the US. I'm okay. I can deal with my problems. If it's a problem I can't, I'm well connected with the community around me. They can help me as I help them. We help each other. I am concerned about the people who are in the Middle East, especially Saudi Arabia. That's what has always been in my heart. That if a solution can be found, especially if they can ban those agencies which are taking our women to Saudi Arabia. Imagine, I don't even understand this husband who sends his wife after delivery 2 months to go and work in Saudi Arabia, leaving the baby even if it's desperation, there's a time when dignity is more than money.
Yeah.
You know? And let me tell you, those agencies, they have some guys whom they send. They convince young ladies. They confuse them. There's one who was living at my place. I am the one who stood firm. They wanted to, they were lying to her, they are taking her to Dubai, but they were taking her to Dubai. Saudi Arabia.
Uh-huh.
So we need to enlighten our young girls. Mm-hmm. We need to tell them the government is not going to help you if you land into problems. You have to decide. Either you go or you stay with your poverty. Mm-hmm. So we are not going to get you call it the CIS. We are not, I hope we are going to get a permanent secretary.
It's a PS.
So.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know whether they've already recruited.
Yes.
I don't know. They have.
It's gazetted.
It's gazetted. So we have a PS for Diaspora.
No, they are doing interviews now, but the slot is there for PS, right? Keep.
For Diaspora.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
There is a Diaspora Affairs department.
I hope they are going to employ me or a Joel or somebody. Mm-hmm. You know, not somebody in Kenya who has never even stepped out of Kenya. Because these people are creating positions for their friends, for their cronies. Mm-hmm. I was checking on the news that these guys who had corruption scandals have been set free. So anyway, Diaspora people, when we have opportunity, let's make use of it. When you are making money, please invest your money wisely, so that if you are sick or if you are in trouble, you can get help. But if you are squandering your funds, you are squandering your money, expecting the government to help you when you are in trouble, I am very sorry. I know I'm sorry to say there's somebody I've heard somewhere who has passed on in Minnesota. That someone who was not supportive to the community around. Now it becomes a problem for people to raise funds for such a person when he is dead. Mm-hmm. So if you can't give out, why should you expect people to give to you when you are in problems?
Yep, that's a fair question.
So that's all I can say, my brother Joel.
Thank you so much, Wanaombui. And just a plug-in for that, I tell people, and in line with what Kip and Alfred have said about getting insurance. Personally, even for me, I'm involved in advocating and championing for Kenyans in the US to purchase their own even life insurance. If you need that assistance, if you need that information, I'm more than happy to share that information that I have, ways that actually helps you to invest and get good returns for your life insurance policy that actually generates interest and income for you at the end of the day. So just a simple plug-in for that. Go next to Bonambauni. Welcome so much. Let's talk about Diaspora, if you are able to. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Nime lost.
Sana. Karibu.
Asante. So for me, I think what have been said, it's okay. Mm-hmm. What I was thinking we can add, maybe like this policy guy can be our secretary.
Okay.
Draft what we've been saying here. Then we can use Gelad to call Alfred Mutua after he take the office. Come share with him what we have said. Then from there, if nothing will be implemented, Ruto's government should never think of talking to diasporans about their votes. Mm-hmm. Like sisi tuseme tuliwapatia hii hamkufanya hata moja. Mm-hmm. So hata sisi achane tujipange na kura zetu.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
I think being patient cannot kill you.
Yes.
What can only kill you is expecting. Because I say expectations is the mother to disappointment.
Yes.
So mimi naweza kasema tuandike tu karatasi hapa hata kama ni tuandike tu points, hata kama ni karatasi, ni kwa karatasi ya unga ya ngano, ipatiwe Mutua.
Yeah.
Akae nayo. Tutamuitisha, sasa wewe ulifanya nini? Akikosa tumwambie ni sawa. Endelea kuhudumia wenye ulihudumia. Sisi wachaneni yetu na sisi tujipange.
Oh, good point.
So again, kuna place mse fulani mwenye amemaliza kuongea. Amesema about a clip. Don't buy that clip. Usifikirie.
Okay.
Hiyo ni ushenzi. That clip have been edited.
Oh, you're talking about the lady with the dogs?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It doesn't mean it doesn't need a rocket scientist kuona the coordination yenye lady ako nayo na puppies. They are so in touch.
Oh.
Yeah, they are so in touch. Like the lady is not being forced.
Okay.
From there, unataka tu kukuwa na knowledge kidogo, si biology mingi. Umewahi kuwa na ng'ombe kwenu. Ng'ombe akiwa na stress hawezi toa maziwa.
Okay.
Ng'ombe mwenye hutoa 8 kg akiwa na maziwa atakupatia hata nusu kilo. But this lady unaona akinyonyesha, kadogika kiachilia nipo, maziwa inamwagika. So it means huyu ni mtu amezoea hii kazi, ni kitu anaifanya kutoka kwa roho yake. Again, it is on TikTok. So to me, it was uploaded somewhere else. Then jamaa akaenda overrecord kwa akisema ati mimi nilienda Saudi sijui nini, but unaweza kaona hata sauti yenye inatoka na venye huyu dem anapanga tupapi hapo, si yeye anasema hiyo mambo.
Okay.
At least angekuwa anazikeep off, si kuzileta karibu. Hawezi kuwa unasema ati nisaidieni but unazileta kwa matiti zako.
Okay.
So that's it. Tuache kuingiza siasa mingi kwa kila kitu tumeona. Alafu emotions.
Yes.
Alafu
No, can you please prove yourself?
Sorry?
All right, Geja, let him speak and then we'll circle back to that. Let him finish his point. Yeah.
What was I saying? I think you may get lost kiasi.
You're talking about the clip with the lady and the
so venye nilikuwa nasema ukiwatch kitu kaa hiyo, weka emotions kando. Huwezi come into a coherent conclusion ukiwa na emotions. So venye naweza kasema uondoe emotions kabisa, uangalie facts, then from there utakuja na conclusion zina make sense. But ukiingiza my emotions hapo, utaona tu hiyo kitu venye wao watu ni wambaya, lakini kama kale ka clip huchorwa ati venye media huonyeshana mtoto amekanyangwa na kiatu, ndivyo media wameonyesha, but kwa ground ni mtoto amejiwekelea kiatu kwa kichwa.
Okay. That's interesting take.
That's what I can say for now.
Thank you, Bwana Mbauni. Thank you so much for your comments. Personally, I've not viewed the video. I know somebody mentioned about it online, but I haven't had a chance to look at it, so I can't really respond. Bwana Umbuya, No, and Keep, I see you guys want to react to that. Sang and Kevin, please, I apologize. Can you give me a moment to have this gentleman respond to that issue, and then I'll get back to you. Umbuya, let me start with you and then go to Keep.
Yeah, sometimes I feel sad, when people try to discredit the challenges that our ladies are undergoing in Saudi Arabia. I need him to go back and watch that clip very carefully. What I can say, even though you are living there and you have an attitude towards these Kenyan ladies, it does not give you a right to discredit what these ladies are undergoing. That was just an example I was giving. We know that there are so many cases of our women in Saudi Arabia and other Middle East who are suffering. Some resort even into doing prostitution because they have no choice. So that is my concern. So don't try to justify that our Kenyan girls who have been blackmailed to go and work in Saudi Arabia, they are working in peace. I have spoken to some even personally. There is a lady I know who was raped by 5 men.
Sorry.
There are some ladies who have told me they work 24 hours without resting because that is what their boss wants them to do. So these are the problems that exist. I don't care whether that was doctored or it was not doctored. My key point is our ladies are suffering. If the government, I don't need the government to help me for now. I want the government to jump in and help those girls, those people who are in Saudi Arabia who have been blackmailed because of ignorance and the poverty. When they reach there, they find the world they were promised is totally different. Some even are promised they are being taken to United Kingdom, or they are being taken to Turkey, or they are being taken to Germany. They end up in Saudi Arabia. So we have to be very objective of our argument.
Background.
Keja, please.
When they reach
So
there, they find the world they were promised is totally different. Some even are promised have been taken.
Keja, you're playing back our audio, so sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So let us be very objective of our argument. Even though you might be there and you are trying to defend where you are saying to look.
Yes. Okay, I got you. Yes, I got you right now. Bounty, this is what you should do. This is what you should do, Bounty.
Keja, just
Bounty, you're here. All you
just
have to do is show your face. We put your face on it. We put a name on it. Don't be talking behind these names. Us, we are putting our names on it. Sai, you will see me. I'm Keja. Don't be talking about stories and proving things wrong, and we don't see you, and you're using a username. Easy ujinga tutawacha diaspora. Put your face.
Okay.
Put your face and put your face. If that is your story, put your face. Tuko hapa. Hizi story waache.
Haya.
Mnaenda mnaumiza wanawake, labda mnakuja kutafuta excuses huku. Mwacheni hiyo jinga. That's it.
All right, looks like that rubbed Keja the wrong way. I apologize.
Yeah. Thank you. Let Kipchunga continue because I'm disappointed a little bit too.
Okay, keep.
So Poleni, I mean, I understand the frustrations that our gentlemen here are going through. Yes, absolutely. We shouldn't be the one to really jump into discrediting people and their sufferings just because we are in that locality. But in saying that, at the same time, yes, for me, I know there's something called deep fakes.
Yes,
you can doctor I haven't seen it myself because normally I don't do the clickbaits and stuff like that because some people actually might really doctor it and then want viewership or, elicit certain conversation. So that could be the case, but I wouldn't be comfortable, especially we should be good example. Some of us in diaspora, we should be good example in actually stopping, this discrediting or spreading of, misinformation. I think it's about time we actually carry some responsibility in what we say, how we say it, and, how we appear out there. We might not think that we have authority whenever we're talking, but your words, my words, carry some weight. So I hope as we continue having this conversation, we be more respectful and actually somehow measure our words, not to discredit people or hurt people who are already hurting. Because, we all know the people who suffer the most are the most disadvantaged people. Now, can you imagine if that's the truth? And then we now discredit ourselves, and yet we are not experts in this, IT technology stuff. No one has tested and actually made sure that it is indeed fake or real. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Bonakil. Thank you so much, Alfred. Okay.
Just a quick one, because would be leaving. Then I'll be donating most of my time to Sang.
Yes. Okay.
So I just want to put in my final submission because I'm going to a meeting.
Yes.
I might join you later on when you've left. So one is that first of all, the issue of the dogs, I wouldn't comment on that. When Bauni was talking, man, ilikimbia kabisa kwa mwili. I watched the clip personally, but sikumaliza. It's so devastating. It's doctored or not, it's nothing. It's not something that you will want to watch, man.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, ARAMA is that there is something someone mentioned about the issue of forming, giving Kipchumba to be our secretary, and actually for us to forge forward and for us to start, we can now start a small group whereby we will be chatting our issues, so that we will not only be talking, but we already also putting on record actually and taking notes on what we've discussed on such a day. Kipchumba would put in even dot points of what we've discussed, and then we put now the final submission and send it to the ministry, so that even in future we would be like, at this certain date we send you an email or we send a letter to your office. This is what we were championing for, but you didn't action on, or you did action on it. So those are the things, and that is how we make small strides now to become a reality. I remember, Rama, one day we will share how this diaspora forum started. I remember it was just a funny Thursday, and
yes,
Gerald didn't have a guest for the day, and he was like, "Oh, if you guys have something, you have the forum." And here we are all going. And I remember I was at work and I told you, look, you can chair, I'll be the guest.
Yes.
And here we are still going, and it is now an edition that everyone is looking forward to it. So we can start as that, and we will go far. I know we will go far, and great things are coming. So as you go and continue with today's show as well, remember to mention the issue on corruption.
Yes.
We actually is Kenya now going to be a free corruption zone? Are we fighting graft? I've seen all the papers today talking about people who are laid off from the mega corruption. Was it something that was there? Was it instigated? Let us dig into that and get to know where we're heading as a country. Personally, I would say that we still have a very long way to go in terms of corruption. If that is how things will be handled, we might not get any far. And remember that all the other agencies, except the DPP, were not questioned. If you see all the other people who are like the DCI, the head of the police, and all these people left, but the DPP is there, and we are seeing what he's doing. So we don't know, is it genuine? Is it not genuine? So let us also discuss on that. Na naona pia I saw today's paper, tumepewa fine pale na China, tuko na 1.3 billion inafaa tulipe, na hiyo tu ni interest. So we can mention that as we continue. So thank you very much. I wish you well, and best wishes.
Thank you, Bwana Alfred. All right. So let me go back now to the queue again. Bwana Kelvin, how are you?
Well, I'm good.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
My name is Mr. Calvin, and I've seen you've been talking about Saudi Arabia issue. Actually, as a youth, I'm a youth actually, and I'm from Kenya. I've been fighting this issue about our youths and our girls going to abroad. Basically, the reason why these issues are arising is because of unemployability that our country is creating, that is forcing the youth to kufanya vitu kaa hizo. You see, once poverty hit you so hard, you can do anything.
Yeah.
You just want to find a solution in order to get from where you are, your situation. Secondly is about our leadership. What are we doing about our leadership? We keep on recycling the same leaders we have been having ever since we gained independence. And you have been talking, the tune has been all about change, and there's nothing being done. Thirdly is about corruption. We have been sanitizing corruption each and every time. Like you see the office of DPP, what is doing. Leave alone the office of the DPP. Look up previously what has been happening. We have been sanitizing corruption. Start with the Golden Bag scandal. No one has ever been apprehended. The cycles keep on continuing. So as you people of diaspora, I've been hearing you've been talking about policies on how you can engage the community back there where you are. I think, according to my own opinion, this is what I can say. If we want to inject and improve the welfare of our society back at home, why can't we initiate projects that can create employment within our circles? Actually, we can start from where we are, from the communities where we are, because in each and every community, utapata kuna kazi hapo. You'll find maybe this certain kind of youths don't have jobs and yet they've gone to university. Once we start by that, then we go outside. Then we create a bigger channel like that. But if we focus up there peke yake, it cannot. And also, we should also push about leadership and how we can change the leadership tune. Because as more as we continue praising these people, we'll continue being in that same situation where we are. Yeah, that's my little idea that I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Bwana Kevin, and karibu sana. Welcome to the show. Thank you for your comments. Bwana Sang, how have you been?
Well, quite well, quite well. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, I've been waiting for a queue in this queue for quite some time, but it's okay. I think even Alfred said that he has taken my minutes and they will give it back to me.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, going straight to I think what we've been discussing. First, let's lay facts about this issue of Saudi Arabia. And the little facts that are there is one, our girls are dying on a daily basis or on a weekly basis in Saudi Arabia. That's the first fact.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The second thing is our girls are blackmailed in Saudi Arabia. Okay. Thirdly, our girls are raped in Saudi Arabia, and even it extends to physical assault. Then the fourth thing about the fifth thing is our girls are working even in more than 24 hours there, and those are the reports that we normally get. And even our statistics clearly shows that over the past 2 years or the past 2 years, actually we have over 89 or around 100 cases whereby our girls seriously people are killed. The last thing is our girls are tortured. So going back to this guy, I can't remember the name, who was talking that video clip was edited and all that. I just beg his pardon to withdraw that thing, because we understand, we have all these facts that have laid down that it is happening back in Saudi Arabia. Then we don't have any moral authority here to say no, this thing is edited. These are facts, and what needs to be done, or what we need to do, is to find a way how we can be able to assist our girls. And I like the way I think Birudi said there is a girl back in his village whereby he stood firm and told her, no, you're not going to go. And those are the things that we need to champion, we know that our girls are going there. Along the way, they should change. You're told that you're going to Saudi Arabia in
Dubai.
Dubai. And that Dubai, you're on transit to Saudi Arabia, a region whereby, the religion itself sees you as, you're not a human being, So those are things and issues of Saudi Arabia. We don't need to discuss further about it. Those are facts. Anybody with that contrary of an opinion, no, you should actually think otherwise. And we need to empower our girls, teach them. We understand the issue. The issue has been, from back at home, we don't have employment, and these people, they are going there seeking for, for life. There's no money back at home, So, and those are the reasons. Those are the reasons why people are going out there. Even us, for us here again, we are outside our country because, back at home, we see that, there is no life that we can be able to make out back at home. That is why we decided to go out. So those are it. And then another thing is about the saving scheme. It's been I remember back in the days when I was working in back at home. That is the year 2012. I think that was the first day I started working. And NSSM, we've been paying 200 shillings, as a national savings scheme. So we used to pay 200 shillings, and I think even up to now, they still pay that 200 shillings. And it's so sad that when a proposal comes in that we need to have this hard and, savings culture, some funny groups are rushing to court, just to stop this issue. And even yet, the thing is at inception stage that people need to be explained why they should save,
Yeah.
And, savings is a good thing. Savings, you save for your money. You save for your retirement benefit, because I'm assuming that at the age of 50 years, at the age of 60 years, 70 years, you're no longer, very active at work.
Yes.
And that is where now you need to, this your savings plan is what now it needs to take you through, the rest of your life, So those are the things. And all these issues of let people save, Let's have a certain that, if it is 10 or 20% of your income, let it be saved. Even I was wondering the other day is about the NHIF, NHIF, we pay how much? Like, I remember the president saying the match he can save, under the current NHIF scheme is 1,700 shillings out of someone who is earning a million salary, It is impossible, it is ridiculous. So we need to have back at home, let people have an homogeneous way whereby they can be able to have a certain percentage so that we can be able to lift all the people. There are those people, mamambogas there who don't have money, and to balance this thing is just to have a certain threshold and percentage that can be able to can be deducted from both of these employees on a monthly basis. And then thirdly, let me just talk about corruption and the cases that have been withdrawn. It is worrying because sitting back as a layman and as a Kenyan in diaspora, you tend to ask yourself why these cases have been withdrawn.
So Sang, let me cut you short real quick. We are actually going to talk about corruption. That's our next topic. I just wanted to talk about diaspora, then I'll come to...
Okay, let me finish about diaspora.
Yes.
Because I wanted to, of course, diaspora was one of my plan. It was my next thing to talk about. It's good that we've been given a ministry, a PS, which is, I think it will be under the State Department of, it's a State Department under the Ministry of Diaspora, Home Affairs and, Foreign Affairs and Diaspora. So now, I would tend to think like this because for us as diaspora to get an opportunity to invest back at home is if this ministry can be able to work closely with us diasporans so that if government is giving out these bonds that I hope you guys understand about bonds, commercial papers.
Bonds, yes.
So that we will have a specific bonds that can be issued to diaspora so that we can be able to subscribe, because that is one way of investment,
Yes.
It's one way that, you invest back at home and you get your money on a yearly basis or on a monthly basis, based on, the actual, the competitive rates in the market. And I would wish to see if that department or the diaspora department can come up with such a thing, so that at least we can be able to see that, yes, we are investing back at home instead of us sending money back at home and people eating our money. That is where you can be able to place your money, so that, when you, and these are the things that it matures within maybe 3 months, 1 year,
Yes.
36 months. So those are things that I'm looking forward to, if that ministry can be able to work on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bonasang. There's one gentleman here that I haven't seen forever, and I'm glad to see him. And I'm glad to see him here today. Mr. LM, welcome back. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'll be in your neck of woods next week, so we really need to meet. I'll be in Toronto on Thursday.
On Thursday? Pass by. Next week?
Yes. I'll be in Toronto next week. Yeah.
Let me know which part. I'll drop my number. I'll send you my number.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. So, welcome. Let's talk diaspora first. And then our next topic is corruption challenges and some other issues that I want us to address. I see one lady, I believe, let me not make a mistake, but I believe she's a lady, so I'll give her also a chance. And then let me start with you, LM, first.
Well, thank you very much. I think this is a very good discussion. And I think this is something that we have long waited to start talking about our affairs that affect us. More often you realize when you're in diaspora, when you go home, you are a foreigner in your own country. So this may be perhaps by us having this ministry, we will start being reunited and being recognized as Kenyans and not foreigners or Americans or, Britons or Canadians and so forth. Yes. So I think this is a good avenue for us to start talking. And for me, I've been a leader of Kenyans here in diaspora. And one of the things during my administration I challenged is the Diaspora Affair Committee that was actually focusing on children who are born here but are Kenyan, of Kenyan parents, who get it very difficult to get citizenship or to be identified as Kenyans. By extension, they are known to be foreigners. I've gone to Kenya with a foreign passport, and my daughter's passport was expired. And the way I was treated, I was not happy. Yet, I participate in remitting a lot of money that actually end up paying the people who sit at the airport. So I think it's about time that we are recognized for what we remit, because we do an amazing job and we have been praised for long, but in return we have gotten zero. I believe that is something that we need to begin to talk about. Number two, one of the other things that I want us also to talk about is employment. Employment in high commissions across diaspora. This should be the preserve of diaspora, the Kenyans who live there. This whole idea of bringing people from Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Kenya, they come there, first year, they are struggling, they are trying to integrate second year, third year. By the fourth year, their tenure, when they are about to settle, their tenure is over, and they are to go back. And they cannot relate with the people here in diaspora because their culture and our culture is somehow not the same. So I think that is one thing we need to start challenging. We can accept to get the ambassadors to be appointed from the ministry, but the jobs at the High Commission, we should be given that priority, because after all, we left Kenya to come here and look for jobs. If as a Kenyan, I'm also entitled to be employed in the High Commission. My living here, I can easily identify with you, but ARAMA, than someone who has just come from Kenya.
That's correct.
So, and in terms of the issue of still when we are in diaspora, in terms of our security, I've been working hand in hand with the High Commission, and sometimes you find that they don't completely understand. We have Kenyans who are being deported, and whereas it's a diplomatic arrangement, there are times when the High Commission wanaweza kanyagia kidogo, and you know, for example, in terms of immigration, there are people maybe, like for example in Canada, once you have depleted all stages of looking for your stay here, you have 12 months, and within 12 months either you have a benefit of getting pre-removal risk assessment that can be issued, that you're only eligible after 12 months, or humanitarian and compassionate. So you will find someone is left with a month, and then wanatumiwa nini kutoka kwa uhamiaji, wanatumiwa watengeneza travel document. Within 2-3 days, the travel document is up.
It's ready.
Is ready, and you're sending this person to be a burden in your country. So
yes.
I've had challenges where we are saying we need to try and challenge this. We have had Kenyans who have been depressed, and we are trying to say you cannot deport someone who is not in the right state of mind. Why
yes.
can't we try to take them through the health avenue that is here? Because immigration does not allow that if they are health on healthy grounds. So
yes.
Lastly, because there is a lot, let me also say that the people in Middle East, the people from Middle East have zero respect for the Black people. The Black people, whenever we are, whether we are here in North America, wherever we are in Europe and everywhere, we are at the bottom. Even when you think you have accomplished a lot in terms of academic, in terms of career, there's something still called systemic discrimination. And somehow you will find that someone who has just come from high school might be promoted while you're here just because
yes.
of either race, the color of their skin. So we, understanding that, we need our government to start putting regulations. And the regulations that we need, those who are going to Middle East, we need the government to make sure that they are put all checks. Because, for example, there was an issue of child trafficking. And what the government of Kenya did, they banned adoption of any kid who is below 9 years or 10 years. We want to start seeing, and the issue of child trafficking, at least ikarudi chini kidogo. So we want the government also to make sure, the same way they praise people from, because people from Middle East are also diaspora. So the same way they praise them of their remittance, we want their lives and their well-being be taken into consideration. How can they do that? The High Commission in these places, whether it's in Qatar, Dubai, or wherever, should be held accountable. Because what is their work? They are there to represent the interest of a Kenyan, and we pay them salaries from our taxes. So if they are not doing their job, we want them to be recalled. We want them to be held accountable. And lastly, corruption is a challenge, and it is an impediment to the development of our country. The only way we can eliminate that, I listened to William Ruto, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. I listened to him. He has not come out clearly to tell us what systems has he put in place to protect anyone, after even him himself, from being corrupt, from stealing, or finding a way of swindling the public funds to individual pockets. Even Raila Amolo Odinga, the one who is so praised for championing reforms, I've not heard him come out clearly to say how is he planning to fight corruption. You know very well, when you get to these countries where we are abroad, the first thing you get at the port of entry, they will take all your information. They will check your health. They will make sure that they have run your fingerprints. So to make sure that when they admit you, whether you are admissible or not, when they admit you, then they have all your records. That is a system that is there in terms of security and the security of that country. So what we want the country to make sure, we want to make sure that if it's digitalized services, we want to make sure that wafanyikazi wote wa serikali wale ambao wanafika kwa ofisi, anaweka koti kwa ofisi na anaenda kutembea, and then at the end of the day analipa. We want them to put the hours so that they can serve a common mwananchi. Recently I was in Kenya. I walked into a land's office, and when I was there, this guy looked at me and I said, I needed some help, and he told me, kaa huko nje, huwezi ingia kwa ofisi yangu hivyo. I went outside, I obeyed the instructions, I waited outside. The guy was just scrolling his phone and he was calling, making phone calls. I walked in and I said, sir, I needed some help. And he told me, what's the problem with you? This is not the kind of civil servants when we want. We want the people who are servants as they are described. So who are indebted to the people, and they will give service, and service delivery is key. And Dr. William Samoei Ruto, this should be his priority in making sure that there is proper and timely service delivery. And those people of Azimio, I just wanted to say something. I've also noted with a lot of concern. We have past election. Now we have the president. I've seen this tendency of toxicity, where anything that the president is proposing, anything, we are shooting it down because you know what? He's not a legitimate president. We cannot reverse this. He is the president. You hate him, like him, he's the president. And if you are patriotic, you have to start talking about unity of our country. And even the other day I saw Right Honorable going to Bunge ya Mwananchi and he made some sentiments. At his caliber, we respect him. We do recognize that he has brought reforms in our country. But at the same time, going to Bunge ya Mwananchi and inciting Mwananchi against the incumbent government is not patriotism. It's selfishness. And this is what we want to stand and say. Individual people who are selfish, we want to make sure that we remove them from, we ignore them so that we can propel the agenda of development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bwana Elem. So I gave you a little bit of latitude because I haven't seen you for a long time. So I gave you a little bit of latitude. I see a new person here, and I see one of my favorite people also here today. So Irene, did I say that name correctly? Let me give you a chance to say a few words, introduce yourself, and then talk about diaspora. And then we are going to come with other issues. We have some more things to discuss, but let me give you that chance to welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Irene. A teacher. I teach Kiswahili at Kajiado Township.
Okay.
I've been following you on Facebook. So today I decided to join this link.
Welcome.
And we are not happy because we have seen our girls suffering.
Yes.
But somehow I've been touched because one of my close relatives is there. And for her, she's doing well because we can talk online, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on TikTok.
Yeah.
So she's giving us mixed reaction. She tells us she's taken care of, she's being paid well. She decided to renew her contract. But on the contrary, we can see our ladies suffering. So we are wondering, as Kenyan people, what can we do to ensure they get something better, such as employment, but we have talked about it. And also, all of us are linking it to corruption. Like, I'm a Fasihi teacher. So even the set book that we are teaching right now, it is highlighting those issues, whereby corruption is being linked to tribalism, and also the learned friends cannot be able to help themselves because of that. So we end up drinking alcohol as a way of eliminating our own stress. So it is a challenge. So I'm hoping through you, our leaders can get to hear this conversation so that at least let 60% of Kenyan people get employment. It will be better. Even if vibarua, it will be better than nothing. Because,
Yes.
and also this issue, we'll be able to make it when we go outside. It shouldn't affect. We can still make it in Kenya because this is where we have been born, and we can't have another country.
Absolutely.
I think it will help us. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you sana Irene, and na mimi pia ni mwanafunzi wa Masihi. I love literature very much. Thank you, congratulations, and keep up the good work teaching our young people. Doro.
Thank you.
All right, Doro, how are you?
Hi, how are you guys doing?
We are doing great. Welcome back, and karibu sana. I know you kind of showed up late, but sawa, better late than never, as they say. First of all, diaspora issues. Then we'll go to some very serious topic that is coming up next. I think you're the last person to speak. Then I'll cycle back and start afresh with a new topic.
Diaspora issue number one is that they have a minister for foreign affairs coming to run us. So that's problem number one. Because honestly, there's no way someone who lives in Kenya would understand what our issues are. Or rather, they didn't call it issues. They call it diaspora affairs. So I'm still trying to push my name there.
Did you apply?
Yeah.
Did you apply?
I'm not going through a formal application. There's no position to apply for. This is a side one. You have to like force yourself in there.
No, there is a position for PS for diaspora.
Diaspora affairs?
Yes.
I didn't see. Where do I apply? Tell me.
I will let my policy guy handle that question for you, so he will give you the information where to apply.
Who's that, Mr. Mise?
No, Keep.
Keep Ebuni to me.
Yeah, the Barry. Well, Isha Peter, you needed to apply a position of PS through Public Service Commission website. So ilifungwa on 20th last month.
How come you guys never told me? I went different ways.
I did share it.
Yeah,
I did share and I did talk about it.
I must have missed it, Kip. So I went different ways.
Oh, now, look out for the CAS. I know they're still somehow,
the code blocked it already. I just read Standard saying the code blocked.
No, I don't want a CAS. What am I going to do as CAS? I just don't want a decorated position. I wanted a position where I could work for the diasporans. I just don't want a position. So since that's not available, the PS is not available, it's okay. We'll still work for diasporans. We'll figure out a way. Whoever is coming in, will give him a hard time. I hope they're not going to put up someone in Kenya as a PS for diaspora affairs, because that will be very irritating. Okay. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, and I'll kind of follow up and see what's up with that. But right now, it's sad what's going on in our country, but also as diasporans, we should stop crying about what's only going on in Kenya. We should cry about what's going on here, because I honestly went to Walmart. Can you believe I went to Walmart and I shopped?
They will.
So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. And what's going on? Someone is...
No, that's Keja.
Okay. So I went to Walmart and I shopped. Actually, I was just going there to pick a couple things because a family member is going to Kenya tomorrow. So I wanted to buy something for my sister, which was something for $14. So as a woman, I walked in there. I decided, I need salad, or I picked a few groceries. Just kidogo too. Like I walked up into my house with hizo kwa mkono tu, like mkono one round. And I paid $138. So let me tell you, it is, we are also suffering. So watu nyumbani, and I want to say this very, very, very clearly, gas just went up. Something is going on between Saudi Arabia and Biden. I don't know what the beef is, but there's a beef going on. Our gas just went up overnight.
Yes.
people in Kenya should not look at us as, oh, send money for this, we're suffering. No, we're also suffering.
Yep.
No, it's a two-way thing here.
Yes.
So the people in Kenya should also reduce their mahitaji, and we should also look out for ourselves, because we're going to be very careless sending these $100 nini left right, solve, bring everybody else's problems, and then you die and you leave your children suffering. You have nothing to be remembered for. So let us also slow down and look at ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The economy that we're trying to build in Kenya by sending money there, look, we were given a foreign affairs minister that is from Kenya, and then we're going to get a PS from Kenya, and then we still keep on pumping money there. I'm still for the idea of diasporans joining hands all over the world, joining hands and just going for 1 week, 7 days, not sending even a penny to Kenya. That's when that country will respect us. That's where I am. Thank you.
Come on, she can't say so.
Irene, tutagoma, tunataka kugoma sasa. So guys, so hot topic, corruption. And my biggest beef right now is, why is the DPP 2 cases to court that now he's dismissing, saying there's lack of evidence? I have no idea what's going on. And more especially, I haven't seen any common, so to speak, common person being let go because of lack of evidence. All I see are prominent politicians being let go and their cases being dropped because of quote unquote lack of evidence. Is the DPP's office abusing their power, or are they absconding their duty? Corruption. What are we going to do? And why is this happening? So I don't know, Keja, it looks like you open up. So I will start with you.
Menden mefungua wa kwanza.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, the way I look at it is like the government is changing.
Yeah.
The government is changing. Watu wanaanza kusameana.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the biggest thing. Oh, I'm sorry. When I look up, I'm thinking. The biggest thing is, I haven't seen Ruto claiming the last government did anything wrong in any way, which means there's an understanding that there are some things, kuna vitu zitaachiliwa. But in the end of the day, kama wakubwa wanaachiliwa, mbona watu wadogo waachiliwi? Why are the little thieves not being left? Why is it the big ones? Where is it the big fish? The big fish are the ones who are being left to go home.
Yeah.
But the little fish, ule jamaa pengine aligonga mtu, maybe cell phone, akapelekwa, ako ndani mpaka saa hii, juu hawezi kuweka bail. There's some kind of substandard that is going on that has to be addressed. Yeah, because if the big ones are being left, at least wale walikuwa wamefungwa. There's some people who have been there, watu walishikwa na kanjo, the small ones, the ones who are just making the money to make their food. Watu waende tu wakule tu nini na kanjo. Sakaja is not saying anything, especially in Nairobi. People are still in jail. We had stories of watu wa nini bodaboda wamewachiliwa. Hatujasikiza watu wa bodaboda wamewachiliwa kabisa. Nobody's coming out to say tumewachiliwa. You know, but now the big ones are still walking around. Yeah, that's kind of sad. But in the end of the day, I hope he does a good job. It has to be questioned. Because as much as the governors are doing, of which to me I'm concentrating on the governors, everybody's concentrating on the big government. If the governors looks like Uliona governor started very hard, now they're relaxing. Walianza na nguvu, kila mtu aliingia na vitisho. Vitisho nini, we're gonna sack, we're gonna do, tutafanya nini. Lakini wote wamekuja wametulia. So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. And then after that, the big ones come, wakubwa wanaachiliwa. Nah. No. Niseme Kenya, no. No, it's funny. There's something going on. But tutajua tu, with time will tell. Because it's funny. It's funny, especially when somebody like Aisha Jumwa being given a position. Aisha Jumwa being given a position. Aisha Jumwa.
I need to interject, Keja, honestly. I'm sorry.
Aisha Jumwa.
All right. Keja, I need you to stick on point. So, Doro, before I let you interject, I see Kip has raised his hand like 5 times, and then Bauni. So, Kip, let me come to you. Let's talk about this corruption. And before you say that, I was actually reading an article on Standard, and I just want to briefly just highlight one statement that really emphasizes on, in this case, he says, the DPP has the authority to prosecute any cases, and then he's asking, some of these cases have been pending in court for several years. So they're asking, how come all of a sudden there's no evidence, or the evidence is not watertight? Why subject to Kenyans to such torture for several years, and then for you to come back and drop the case for quote unquote lack of evidence? Keep to you.
Yeah, I think for me, we have issues as Kenyan people, and we are quick to forget that, most of these so-called corruption cases were instituted only to target certain group. Look, normally I don't disagree with you, but today actually, for the first time, I'm putting it on record. I'm disagreeing with you.
Yes.
Now, the reason why I disagree with you is because we don't see Eziwa Mboga and all that because they don't make the news. So they might be there, but they don't make the news. But in saying that, yes, we actually need to fight corruption. But we cannot fight corruption just by targeting certain corner or because they disagree with you politically. Now, remember, even the cases to do with Aror, Kimwarer and all that, the government let go of certain individuals just because they actually supported the government of the day. Now, when the government is gone, there is a new government, and then, the cases are dropped simply because there are 3 or 4 investigative organs in Kenya. DPP are the ones to take the files that have been compiled, not compiled by them, but by police and DCI and anti-corruption body. We cannot then blame DPP for dropping these things because they don't have no evidence. So that would be, where I come from. I love to look things from both angles and not just one lane. And I know you normally do that.
Yes.
You approach from both sides, or even the third angle where you are neutral, of which I have always respected that. So, but for today, I disagree with you in terms of, is this really, is the DPP sleeping or letting go or whatever? But I think lack of evidence, we cannot victimize people just because, they were certain corner. Yeah, so I think for now,
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I agree that every Kenyan is innocent until proven guilty. But then what does it do more harm? Does it do more harm for you to have subjected these people for several years in court, and then all of a sudden, for lack of a better term, you have a come to Jesus moment and decide, oh, the evidence is no longer tangible? Because the DPP is a lawyer by profession, right? And he knows what the rules of evidence that's supposed to be taken to court. If you looked, so are you saying, okay, is the DPP saying that these cases were filed without him looking at them, and then all of a sudden he's reviewing them and finding there's no evidence. So the question is,
or maybe his hands were tied, then he should come out.
We
should see the other part.
If that is the case, then he should come out clear and say, hey, these cases are being dropped because they were politically motivated, and not say lack of evidence. So
for them to speak the truth, yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm struggling, because I want, to me, and my opinion is, I would rather see this case go through, and the judge or the magistrate come and says, based on the evidence presented, Mr. So-and-so, Madam So-and-so, you have no case to answer because the evidence was not sufficient. Rather than somebody, without then release the records or the evidence that was presented to you to take them to court, put it in the public domain. Let us decide whether it is actually enough evidence or not. The problem is,
one thing,
we are making a scenario whereby all of a sudden is being tied to, previously you are against the government, now you are for the government, now your case is being dropped. So when you are against the government, I'm not agreeing either way that when you are against the government, then you should be taken to court, and someone finds an excuse to take you to court, and then when you are for the government, all of a sudden you're an angel. No, I want the judicial system to work fairly for everybody. If you have a case to answer, you better answer, go to court, let the prosecutor give it his evidence. If it's sufficient, you go to jail, like the other guy who has been jailed for 67 years, he was upheld. Everybody celebrated. We're like, hey, 67 is a long time, but you know what? Justice was served. So to me, that is the biggest concern, that we are only singing the issue of corruption when it fits our narrative. And when it doesn't, then it's done. I want to see, my hope and my desire is to see a system where actually I am taken to court, I defend myself, or the person prosecutor produces the evidence. If they cannot prove beyond reasonable doubt or sufficient evidence, then it's thrown out. Let that process take place. Rather than somebody coming in and saying all of a sudden after 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, it doesn't matter, even a week is long enough for you to have been taken to court, when from the beginning you knew there was no evidence, you are just doing this for political purposes. So if I am the guys who the cases were dropped, I'm going to sue the DPP for aligning my name. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
All right. So, all right, Ombui, I see your hand. Before I come to you, Ombui, Wanambauni, I know you have raised your hand for some time. I don't know whether it's about the issue we're talking about now or something else. Let me just give you 1 minute for you to say something because you still have your hand raised.
Thank you, Joel.
Yeah.
I was thinking to put on record about what other people have said against me, because some have used some pathetic things to describe me, but it's fine.
Okay.
Because it has been proven that video was uploaded from a porn site, and the porn site have been quoted there.
Oh.
Yeah, it has been said. So you cannot blame anyone for your ignorance or for you because you did not follow up on things. You cannot blame anyone. I'm one person who is here in girls, and I have been championing for the protection of our girls.
Okay.
But that one doesn't mean that everyone sent online should be agreed on, even if it is fake.
Okay. All right.
Another thing, kuniambia ati nionyeshane uso nitumie sijui nini, I mean, is that an issue? Joel.
Yes.
Just answer that.
I personally, I don't think it is. Here is my belief, and everybody, I don't know if I'm mistaken in this. We are here to express our opinions. If something is not right, somebody has a right to correct it or challenge your issues. But I don't want it to degrade where it becomes a personal attack. To me, that would not be a right approach. So, yep.
I will read it as it was written.
Okay.
The fact check. Establishment of the clip that went viral. showing a Kenyan woman breastfeeding an employer's puppies in Saudi Arabia. It was uploaded. This misleading footage was originally uploaded from a porn-site TV.
It was written.
And the category of.
Can hear you back. Thank you.
And the categories of bestiality. So it is even known which porn site it was uploaded from.
Okay.
But ni sawa tu kama mtu hakuwa amejua, at least amejua.
Okay.
Another thing.
Yes.
Mwarabu hawekangi mbwa. Hata kuna msemo husema alichapwa kama mbwa ameonekana kwa msikiti.
Oh.
Yeah. Kelbu is haram to them.
Okay.
So, akuja na fact ingine.
All right.
Corruption.
Yes.
I think either way, hapa benye kipo amesema, hii kitu kuna benye inakaa like DPP alikuwanga under pressure, we finye hawa watu mpaka watufuate. Ama ameambiwa safisha hawa watu mpaka wakuwe weupe kama pamba. I don't think unaweza kanishaki for for 5 years.
Yes.
And then these 5 years are started when we started having contrary opinions.
Yes.
There is a room for thinking else. So unless DPP comes out clear and say, just the way he said that Ruto's name is not being mentioned anywhere kwa hii skanda ya Kimorel.
Yes.
Unless akuje aseme venye tu alisema, hizi kesi enyewe mimi nilikuanga under pressure. Hata ulishwa na mtu pressure ilikuwa ya kwa nani, tutajua. Or maybe ni kutuambia tu in a different way. You know there is a way you can say something using a different way.
Yes.
Lack of evidence in Kenya means a lot of things. So hiyo bado inaweza kuwa mtu kama Waititu, lakini mtu kama Waititu how
Yep.
Alikuwanga impeached. Sasa akaenda kotini sasa aseme alikuwanga impeached kwa kitu haikuwa, wanaweza kafanya nini?
Yeah.
So a lot of questions to be answered, but I don't know by who.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Baumi, first of all, for your clarification and your response about the video. And I believe maybe, I'm not speaking for anybody, maybe the misconception was either you are completely saying there is no issue in Middle East, but I don't think that was your response. You are just specifically addressing the video. And maybe that's where we kind of cross paths. But thank you for your response and your clarification on that issue. Going back to the topic again, I believe, I see your hand. Is there something that is burning you want to say?
Yes, but I'm going to incorporate it with what I need to say about the topic and I'll be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Something burning. First of all, I'm just talking in response to Keja. Keja, you were talking about Deputy President Ruto.
President
Ruto. Oh, okay. Yes. Well, sorry, that is not out of disrespect.
Okay.
He is the president. So President Ruto.
Yes.
So the fact that you're wondering how come he never questioned the other government, the outgoing government. How did you want him to question it? He was part of it. So sometimes these games that are being played, we should stop acting like we're so gullible, we don't see or we don't see how. Picture yourself if you are Dr. Ruto, you are the president, serikali ni yako, what will you do? You will clean up your name and the people stood up for you. These are just facts. I'm sorry, but it is true. Me, if I become president right now, and I had some underlying issues, and you stood for me, you were being beaten, ulikuna pako juu yangu, I will cover you, I'll protect you, and I'll clean up some of that dirt, because at that point, I'm the highest person in the land. So we shouldn't actually ask some questions that are not very sensible. He is the president, serikali ni yake, he will do whatever he wants. But as long as the opposition is there to oversight him, and he can handle the oversighting. Another thing, you mentioned Aisha Jumwa. Let me tell you, when Ruto named his cabinet, I was the first one who was like, how could he? Huyu ni nini? But let me tell you, when I listened to Jeff Koinange live, the Wednesday after the president had mentioned his cabinet, you guys need to go back and listen to that, and I'll send that link here on the group. It will change your mindset. It will change your mindset. As the president, first of all, those people don't need any form of education to be there.
Yeah.
I think kama ulifika class 8 ama form 4, one of the other, you're fine. They don't need any form of education. So historia education tumwage nje kabisa. Do I agree with Aisha Jumwa being there? I really necessarily don't care for her. But that is the president's choice. Again, that hiyo ni serikali yake. Atafanya vile anataka, ata reward the people who are his loyalists, and there's nothing we can do about it. And it's not easy for me to say this, but after listening to that show of JK Live, where former ministers waliongea, ilinichukua akili, and I said, I'm not going to look uneducated coming here and arguing why the president picked an educated person. No, I'm not going to sound like that. The people who do the work is not actually the cabinet ministers. It is the PSS and the other staff in the ministry that do the work. They do all the work to come and make Aisha Jumwa look very intelligent out there. So that's their job. So hii mambo ya argue about education or how could he pick so over this one, hiyo tumwage mbali kabisa, because it does not matter when it comes to you being a cabinet minister. So that doesn't matter kabisa. Another thing is now I'm getting to the topic. Corruption.
Yes.
Corruption. Ni ngumu. That's a very tough. Imagine kama baba ajui what to do with corruption. How are we going to expect?
So we are doomed either way.
We're doomed one way or another. We're Africans. We're screwed. So nile tu keti tu chini tuombe Mungu msamaha tusamee. We just decide to run a clean country. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but one way or another, I'm seeing the way Ruto is leading choir, singing in State House. I'm hoping God leads in the right way. We clean this country. Honestly, I'm just hoping and praying to God, because that's a tough one. We are corrupt from Mama Mboga all the way to the. If we had a pope, it would be corrupt too. So just the fact that you're Kenyan or African, let me just say African, the fact that you're just born African, you're just born into corruption.
Wow.
We are corrupt, tunaiba hata kiberiti, tunadanganya hata, we have some petty small lies that just all bundle up to corruption, and it's a disease that only God can save us out of these. Hiyo sasa sielewi kabisa. Tuende kwa hii mambo ya Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia maze, first of all, when somebody posts a picture of a part of their body claiming they're being assaulted or doing what, and they didn't post their face, don't trust that person. Because that could be a breast for any woman out there. Okay. So now we've seen the truth that imekuja ati ni kitu yenye ilikuwa kwa porn. This thing, me, if I don't see your face and I know it is you Mise, or it is me Doro, I will not buy it, and I will not even cry about it. Sorry about that. Thank you.
All right. Misa is objecting kwamba yeye hakuwa kwa hiyo video. So Misa, can you allow me to give Ombui a chance and then I'll come to you? Thank you.
Yeah, asante sana ARAMA, nimengoja sana.
Yeah.
So what I want to say about, I know we are talking about corruption, but I want to go back to Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Mbaoni cannot prove to us that wherever he's doing his fact checking, that is true. We know that a woman with breasts, in case is being abused for private purposes, they can hide their face. We know that because we know about social media, how things trend. That video has trended. So what if her face was there? These are things which are obvious. So what I can tell you, Mr. Mbaoni, he should be the one in a very good position to tell us what is going on in Saudi Arabia and other regions in the Middle East. But he seems like to be telling us that things are so good, that there are no problems in Saudi Arabia, because I've listened to him several times. This is not the first time. So I will go back to that video and I would look on it very carefully and even use tools to make sure whether it's a true video or it's a doctored video.
Okay.
So let's come to number 2. I heard Mr. talking about Raila Odinga going to Bunge la Wananchi. Bunge la Wananchi invited Raila Odinga to go and talk to them. Does it mean that Raila Odinga, being a politician, he has no right to go and meet other people, associate with other people simply because he's an opposition, because it will look like he's inciting people? Hata Trump yule ambaye alipeleka watu huko inaitwaje huko on 6th of January. Yes, he's still going to gatherings na anaongea na ana campaign. So let us not try to limit people's freedom of assembly simply because they are airing their views, their opinions, and all that. It may not go down well with you, but that's what we call freedom of speech. If Raila wanted to incite people, he could have done it after August 9th, but not now. So let us be democratic and give people their freedom of right, freedom of assembly. Issue to do with corruption here. I don't know what to say, but I'm very devastated and very hopeless on the issue of fighting corruption in Kenya. And I've been telling Kenyans even before, when Ruto was declared a winner, I've been telling Kenyans there are tough times ahead. The people who are celebrating ni wale wenye ambayo hawako sawa kama sisi, wako sawa zaidi kuliko wengine. Kama umesoma shamba la wanyama. The judges were immediately appointed, right? Now we see kwa cabinet sijaona hustle hata mmoja. Do you know hata ule msichana anaitwa Toto, it was so difficult that at some point they wanted to do away with her. You don't know that because he was just a poor girl. So this hustler narrative was a choreographed strategy to win votes. Because sijaona mahali hustler anapia. Hata hawa watu ambao wamekuwa freed from graft allegations, sijaona hustler hata mmoja. Ni wale ambao wamekuwa appointed as cabinet secretaries, so they are being cleared to pave way for them to be sworn in very soon. And Haji ameambiwa you either do vile tunataka or you go home. Hata wewe jamani, you have to save your job, you know. So the way Dora said, Haji is under duress or is coerced to do vile mdosi anataka. So, and we know that Ruto rarely talks about corruption. So niambie even one thing, since Ruto aingie president, yenye amefanya hustlers wanafurahia, wanasema hata sisi tumeguzwa mahali mkono. Mahali waliuzwa mkono ni mafuta kuongezwa, kutoa subsidies. So corruption in Kenya, hiyo msifikiri ati kuna siku itaisha. Kwanza sasa ndio itakuwa mbaya zaidi. Just prepare yourselves. Don't console yourself. Sasa ndio corruption itakuwa broad daylight. So mjipange. Hata hii pesa mnatuma kutoka hapa, ukiweza nunua shares huku diaspora share. Kama uko US, uko Canada, buy shares. It may be economically valuable. Because pesa ya Kenya mahali tunaelekea, it will be so bad if corruption is going to continue. But I don't think I have much hope for fighting corruption. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Wanaumbui. Misa, I think I give you a right of reply because you have been adversely mentioned. So
yeah, thank you very much. You know, yes. Sometimes I get really disappointed for some of us who are abroad. Sometimes we speak from a point of delusion. We are delusioned, and when we are delusioned, we become less objective. You know, let me quote what Right Honorable Odinga said kwa bunge la mwananchi, na alisema kwa Kiswahili, alisema sarakasi ya mwizi mwingine mwenda wazimu anaitwa Chebukati. That is demeaning the character of the commissioner, the chairperson of a reputable, organ that decides the fate of our country. You know, when you say that, assuming Chebukati anapita pale kwa bunge la mwananchi, what will happen to him? So incitement, we are past incitement now. Baba is above this. To go to bunge la mwananchi, to whine there, is actually demeaning or lowering his standards. He is someone that we respect so much, and it will be nice that he focuses on telling his supporters how we can unite to propel the agenda of development of our country. To me, that is what I want to hear from him. Baba should focus on telling us, okay, there was an error in the IBC, the way everything was conducted. So can we try to bring reforms? The fact is, he cannot turn the tables and become the president now. The next 5 years, it's going to be William Samoei Ruto. The message of unity and reconciliation is what we want to hear from Baba. Now, I think in relation to corruption, there are a few things. That's what I wanted to tell my brother Mbui. You know, let us not be delusional. I don't know William Ruto. William doesn't know me. I'm not intending to know him in person, but I will be happy if our country is prosperous. I don't know the Prime Minister of Canada, but I'm happy the leadership and governance that he provides this country gives me an opportunity to smile every day. That's what I want to hear, and that's what I want to see in my country. When ARAMA, I don't know if I would speak on a subject matter that you spoke about corruption and how the cases were dropped.
Yes.
You know, when ARAMA, there is, and I wanted to also mention that the rights and fundamental freedoms, they are not absolute. They have a limitation.
Yes.
So when you have a right of expression, you can't go and throw stones at the police station and expect not to be arrested. Or you can't be walking aimlessly in the streets and expect not to be questioned where you're walking to. So every right, every law has an exception and has a limitation. So I wanted to pass this to those who are so delusional of talking about rights and fundamental freedoms. Also, there is also something called fair trial. You know, you have a right to fair trial.
That's right. Yes.
And this, when we talk about right to fair trial, we must be objective and see sometimes the law has not been very objective in fighting the crime. Sometimes the law has failed in combating crime and has propelled or advanced the interests of the rich and the powerful. So sometimes you find that people who have money can influence how the law or the decision or the decision is going to be made. We saw the case of George Floyd here. I mean, it took the intervention of people to go to the streets, white, black, and all that, to make sure that he has, you know, the bad police officer has been brought, you know, justice has been administered. So sometimes there are many other things that affect the way the law works. Now, let me say, in terms of the reason why the DPP has given, you know, the way our police officers handle evidence, it's interesting when you see when they go to the scene of crime investigations and how they handle the evidences can lead into a case being dismissed on account of technicality.
Yes.
You know, there's something called rules and procedures of evidence.
Evidence, yes.
Does the evidence that you have provided meet the threshold in order to be admitted in a court of law? If it doesn't meet the threshold, then whether or not it will be dismissed. And that's what our police officers have thrived in. And you will find that the DPP goes to court and he has nothing to rely on in terms of evidence, the way the evidence was handled, the photos. Then they will start telling you who took the photos, from which phone, from which gadget. Is this gadget meet the threshold? You know, so some of these are the technicalities and challenges that we have. That is why countries like where we are privileged to have videos, live videos. You're told when you are starting to pursue someone, you have to turn on the camera, right? So, and when you turn on the camera, you have to notify the room, maybe the radio room or something like that. So some of this help people to be brought to account. But in Kenya, you'll find that the investigating officer was compromised and he throws the evidence. You go to court all the way, and that's where you go to get what is called chasing wind or hot air.
Hot air.
So another thing is the Bill of Rights, Chapter 4, Article 48 and 49, actually talks about right to access, right to access to justice, and also it also talks about the rights of the arrested person. So when you have been arrested, the state must make sure that you have, even in Kenya, you must be able to demonstrate that you understand the proceedings in court. You have a right to counsel the state prosecutors or state attorneys, and because it's a right to fair trial. And fair trial also brings about the time which the case will take to the time which it will be prosecuted and sentenced and someone is jailed. So that is why I want to say that sometimes the DPP might be willing to fight corruption, but there is a challenge in handling evidence because the investigating officers know very well that that will be the technicality. And lastly, in terms of, and I agree with what my sister Doro says, and your policy guy can tell you that in policy making, there is something called symbiotic relationship. We have seen that in very many areas, even here in North America. We see Obama appointing so-and-so. We see Joe Biden appointed so-and-so. Those people stood for them, you know? The difference is until you have been tried and it has been ruled that you are guilty, you're still the presumption of innocence still stands. The test is, have you been tried? Have you been? Has it been ruled that you are guilty? If not, then your innocence is as good as mine. So as we fight this, as we call names like Aisha Juma, let us also remember Babu Wino shot someone, a DJ, and he's still at large. Let us also point that, and he's a member of parliament, and so many other people. Let us also look, just because it's William Samoei Ruto, let us not try to pull him. He's our president. Let us impress him. And I wanted to disagree with, I think, Doro. We have the chapter 1 of the Constitution says the power is vested in the people, and the people can use the power to rise and question any injustice. So let us use that power that has been vested in us. Thank you.
All right. So really quick, LM, before I go to somebody else, the thing that really bothers me with the whole process now is, and I'm trying to reconcile that. I want to assume, and I believe so, I will be correct by saying that the DPP is not a small town lawyer by any standard. For him to rise to that position, he must be very good at his job, and he must be an expert in law. Did it take him 2 years, 3 years to decide that this case has no evidence to be fully prosecuted? That is a question that I'm trying to reconcile, because I understand if somebody was arrested yesterday or last week, or even less, even give him a month, and then come back and say, hey, there's no evidence here, this has to be dropped. But some of these cases, for heaven's sake, have been caught for over a year. So that is where you start losing the public faith that you are actually never going to prosecute anybody about corruption, and then goes back to what Doro was saying. We are damned either way. Corruption is going to be part of us. We might as well just give it an official title and move on with our life. That is where if our institutions are not going to function the way they are supposed to be, then where are we going to get help from? Because I'm not saying that for this case, everybody has mentioned Aisha Juma. I'm not saying that she's guilty, because she's not based on the law. I don't have that evidence. But the person who took him to court and said, okay, I sign off, this case has enough evidence, let it proceed. And then a few years down the line, you come back and say, oh, by the way, there was no evidence. So did you abuse your power? Are you incompetent? Or are you trying to circumvent justice? So which is which in this case? And that is the answer to me. The DPP needs to come out and clearly answer. How did you get to this point? Did someone, if you did not oversee these cases for them to authorize for them to go to court, who did it? And is that person still employed? Is he still working in your office, or are they fired? And they're going to be taken to court for abuse of power and abuse of office. So those are the issues that I'm really trying to reconcile, because we are never going to fight this corruption if the appearance is that there are people who are always going to be favored or persecuted or prosecuted based on who they support or based on what side of so-called government they are supporting. That is my biggest challenge with the whole process. Because I want everyone to be fair. Whether you're guilty or not, or whether you committed a crime or not, let the law prove. And I gave the example of the guy who, even after going to the Court of Appeal or High Court, it was ruled, yeah, you got a fair trial and you need to serve your 67 years in jail. Everybody celebrated and said, hey, justice was done. It was proven beyond doubt. You messed up, you need to pay time for that. So that should be the process. And if that is not the process, there's no evidence, you should never take somebody to court when you didn't have evidence just because of political pressure. That should not happen. And I think that's my contention at the moment. We need to have some sort of decorum and process, because that's how our society is going to function. When you don't have a functioning system and institutions, then we are in trouble. So I see gentlemen here. I know we see your raised hand. I know Sang is there. Can you guys just allow me real quick? I know there's a new guy here who is here, Bernard Franklin. How are you, sir? All right. Naonekana Franklin bado hajatafuta microphone yake hajapata. So Ombui, give me 1 second. Sang, did you have something to say before I come back to Ombui?
Actually, I think I'm the only one who has not, talked about this issue of corruption.
Yes.
And I think I saw Bernard had raised his hand, so I don't know what point of thing that he wanted to say, so that I can be able to take it from there.
Okay.
Maybe you can give him a chance. Yes, and then
okay. I guess Sang has yielded to you, Ombui.
Thank you, Sang. I appreciate it very much. So what I wanted to say, Joel, is that you don't need rocket science. You don't need hii sheria mingi, you don't need hii sheria mingi ya mse ambaye anatuambia hapa. What we know, and it's a fact, and in fact he should be in a good position to tell us what transpired, but he's using his low knowledge to mislead us. This guy, Yusuf Haji, is a lawyer. He has lawyer experts in his office. You see? There is no way you can say that he can take guys to court without evidence, then 3 years down the line, there is no evidence. After we have a new president. And the guys who are being exonerated illegally have been appointed to government senior positions. This guy has been coerced. He's under duress. To do what? To withdraw the cases, so that to pave way for these guys to take up positions. So let us not misuse the terms like delusional or what. That's a fact. And if you fear to talk about it, I am talking about it. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Bonasang.
Okay.
I'll come back to you. Let me go to Sang first.
Okay. I've had Mr. Bernard, talking about this issue of corruption, and it's a good thing that we can be able to execute and talk about it. And I've seen most of the speakers dealt about it. And coming back to how I think about this issue is I think DPP, after evaluating all the merits and the merits of these specific cases, he has found it out that these cases cannot continue with this trial because I think it lacked evidence. And from the point of view is a case starts from a point of where you collect your evidence, so that at least you can take to a competent court of law and table your facts. And in my cue is, according to maybe how I understand is, one, there must be an illegal tactics that were used or were applied then to gather this evidence. And that is why, it was, you remember there was something called Kamata Friday that was happening, those days. And, it's just a boom and someone is coming to arrest it because there is a corruption case against him. So it begs now to understand that why were these guys, arresting these people on Fridays, and yet now here at this time and moment, DPP is coming out clearly to say that, these cases, it doesn't have evidence to continue, to adjudicate these cases. So according to how I see, I can be able to connect the state capture that was there then, and what was happening during that, period. And you see clearly that these things were done in a rush, it was done just to make the one in charge of the government at that time. Okay, Keja, I think you're talking about.
No, go ahead, Sang. I'll come to Keja later. Finish your thought.
So I think KJ is spectating the points that you are giving, so you're all good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So I think this was the point whereby these guys at those offices were doing their job just to make the president happy or to make them look that they are doing their job. Yet they have nothing actually tangible to deliver in terms of a case that can stand at the court of law. And you see, if cases are politically instigated, and coercion that was happening during that time, then it will tell you clearly that those cases were going nowhere. And that's the reason why you see there is no evidence, sufficient evidence to charge these people at the court of law. Generally, in any case, if you have poor procedural taking place, that is, right away from even police doing the interrogation, man, that case is not going nowhere. And that is why even the other day I was worried to hear that, some cases like the one of Ferdinand Waitito, a man having been impeached from the county assembly up to Senate. But it tells you, I remember those days, on the flip side, going back to those days, if you see back even the way the likes of Kindiki was removed from being a Senate speaker and, Senate deputy speaker. So it tells you these things that it was purely run by state at that time to achieve a political end game, which it never succeeded. And that is why you see most of these cases are collapsing. And it's not only that one. Why were these cases even taking too long? And corruption cases are just bare cases. You just table your evidence. You guy, we found you, you stole 40 million or 40 billion or 19 million, And these are the transactions that how this money was, was shared along. And this is the proceeds on how it end up into your account. So these are simple things that does not require rocket science to just, table the evidence at the court of law and for a judge to just make an easy decision about it, So those are the things. And we cannot rumamong everywhere saying, oh, corruption. Most of these corruption cases actually are corruption cases that were labeled against these individuals, not because they were corrupt. Just imagine our whole ministry. How many ministry? Because actually, I remember when I was back in Kenya those days, doing tender business here and there. You will realize the massive corruption that are there. Done by junior staff. Even leave alone the PS or the CS there. The massive corruption actually in government offices are the one done by the junior officers. Those are the clerks at that level, the procurement officers at that level, and that is where the corruption is. Those are people that needs to be dealt with, or come up with a way on how government can be able to come to eradicate that kind of system in government, so that you can be able to check and balance. Why should I buy a phone 10 times the market price? It's impossible. And someone will just give you that thing. He will sign for you a paper. Mbele badaji, ijipange. So those are the things that needs to be worked on. Leave alone this corruption. Unasema ati someone alinunua cheap transformers, authorized. Where the tender, who sits at the tender committee? Those are the people that needs to be charged with to explain how they arrived at this. So about corruption, that is it. Otherwise, we cannot pray and sit and pray and say that we are praying corruption will get out. It will never. Corruption is it needs a total collective responsibility from all sides of the government to fight corruption. And that is why Ruto has disengaged himself and he has given people to do their job. DBP and Inspector General, you've given your money, so do your job. Judiciary, the judiciary fund is being has been operationalized. Chief Justice, organize your team. Charge these people within 6 months. At least that is where corruption cases can be dealt with. In a shorter period of time. And remember, justice delayed is justice denied, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are the things that needs to be worked on. Cases should be determined within 6 months, and especially corruption cases, and that is it. Thank you.
All right. So I guess all of you guys nobody is answering this question that is really disturbing for me.
What's that question?
All these people are innocent until proven guilty, right? Yes. But my question is, the person who is in charge of making sure that actually a fair trial actually exists, and he's mandated by law and by the constitution to sign off on these cases. My question, maybe Alfred, you can answer this. Why did it take the DPP 3 years, in some cases 2 years, in some 1 year, in some 6 months, in some, to decide that there is no evidence? So, that is the question that I'm trying to understand, because I get it. These people They didn't do anything wrong according to the law because there was no evidence. But the question
and I ask,
yeah, Alfred, go ahead.
Joe, ARAMA, can I ask?
Let me leave my good friend Bernard amalize hiyo one, sababu mimi nikisema hiyo itaandikwa kwa gazeti ya East Africa.
Ni sawa Alfred. Wacha iandikwe. Bernard, go ahead and then I'll come back to Alfred.
There was state captures, they say.
Yeah, I answered that question several times.
Okay, you are breaking off, Bernard. If you can repeat your statement again.
Bernard is better off when he's on camera. When he's, we don't know what he's doing behind there. That's why.
Boy. Go ahead. All right, Alfred. Let me come to you while Ombui gets his audio back.
Can I add something before I forget? Quickly, please.
Okay.
I mean, you answered yourself this question.
Yes.
One of the reasons. You answered yourself. You said it is politically motivated. We agree, absolutely, 100%. It's selective application of fighting corruption. So that's one. Number two, there is a myriad of reasons also. Let's say you took, wewe ulikuja ukakata miti yangu. And then hii miti yangu ulikata ikachukuliwa kama exhibit pale polisi. Police, they don't have storage ya kuweka hii miti yangu, right? Sasa there is a backlog in court. Sasa kitambo kesi yangu ifikiwe, ile miti evidence imefanya nini? Imeharibika. So tukifika kotini, a technicality, sina evidence.
But LM, that's why we have pictures and video.
Let me answer you.
Watch a story, walifinywa.
Can you hear
me? Why are you hiding?
Yes, Bernard. Watch a Bernard. I say me allow Franklin is back, so after Bernard I'll go to Franklin and then Alfred.
So, reinforce my answer to you again.
Yes.
There is no way miti ambayo iko stored in different police stations.
Yeah.
Inaweza kuwa yote imefanya nini? Imepotea. Concurrently.
Yes.
So, nimewaambia mara mingi, hata hawa wanajua, hawa wenye wanajaribu kudefend president, wanajua what has transpired. Hati imeambiwa, sisi hatutakuambia uende nyumbani, wewe fanya kazi yako, you are a good man, lakini tunataka a favor. So have appointed them to ministerial positions. I want you to make sure that you drop their cases with no evidence. That's the easiest way to drop them, with no evidence. But there is no way you can tell me that this guy has taken these guys to court without the threshold, your evidence. That's not a threshold, your evidence, before you take to court.
Yes.
So where did that go? So my brother, vile nani amesema Doro, hata akakuwa president saa hii, wale wako close wamepigania na yeye campaign nini, kama wako na corruption cases, I will make sure incident. That is what has happened.
Yeah.
Nothing less, nothing more. So Mise, weka sheria yako hapo sasa, utuambie.
Thank you, Bwana Franklin. I see you're back. You're on video now. Let me give you a chance to say something.
All right. Thank you. Can you hear me? Unanisikia sahi?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm here to find out.
Yes.
Ni vile ODPP amekuwa reduced to I don't know, a state puppet or something of that sort, because there is no way unaweza kaa na case for all that long. And after it, I know DPP is a very senior person and is a very prominent lawyer.
Yes.
In the first place, why did you press your case for court kama unajua una evidence? Unajua that's begs the question. Then unaona case kama ya Amos Kimunyi imekuwa revived. Ilikuwa around 60 million, he grabbed a parcel of land somewhere. Then about the corruption cases, for now it's too early to judge. I mean, this government is about 30 30 days, 31
30
days
days old.
old.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so hatuwezi jua, walisema wamepatia polisi hii inaitwa financial autonomy, so I'm here to find out because mbeleni tulikuwa tunaambia IG alikuwa anakuwa funded by the office of the president. And now tunaambiwa amepatiwa financial autonomy, yeye atakuwa na budget yake. And then the government, there is a government policy that according to the new constitution says that 3% of the GDP 3% should go to judicially. So if you are in, so kama tunapata 3 trillion, a third of it, 3% of it should go to judiciary. Hata ifai kuongelelewa, then kama ni 15 ama 20% iende kwa county governments. Hiyo ndio government policy. Maybe the Raila was fighting kwa BBI walikuwa wanasema ifike 45. But now I think given the things the way they go, ngoja tu tuone the new government the way itafanya kazi. Ngoja tuone hizi corruption cases vile tutaenda, kwa sababu Aisha Juma. So tangona tu. That's it. Thank you for your time.
Mumelemea huyu dada wetu sana bwana. Kila mtu anamwonyesha so maybe somebody is saying step capture made about turn, they turn the other way.
But the truth of the matter is kuna kesi zingine they are politically motivated and so I think on the right of the day, given the circumstance, kuna everyone saw.
Angalia,
let me tell you,
Kalinturi.
Ndio kwambia mtu kama yeye Alinturi for example, alienda huyo dem alienda akadraw case without what made her withdraw the case after this, when ikiwa mysterious after government tu amekuwa sworn in as amekuwa nominated as whatever CS agriculture.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things that are not adding up. Now ukiangalia previous regime wanted Baba by fire by force. Truth be told, everyone could see. Previous regime, everyone wanted Baba to become a president, except for the Azimio Secretariat na Azimio board. Kulikuwa na board yenye kutana KICC na kulikuwa na Azimio Secretariat. Hao ndio tu hawakutaka Baba ashinde. The rest walikuwa wanataka Baba ashinde.
Wow.
Hiyo ndio maoni yangu.
Thank you, Brother Franklin. Thank you so much. And karibu sana. You look like you have some very nice way of looking at things. Bwana Sang, before I come to you, wacha nipatie Alfred chance ya kuweko kwa Kenya Gazette. Hata sasa sio East Africa. Kenya Gazette, pap, your chance, Alfred. Let's go.
Thank you, ARAMA.
Yeah.
I was actually chatting with a friend the other day. And I told him one of the things that actually made me champion the elections of William Ruto was how he had actually put in the issue of corruption, saying he's coming to fight corruption. And I had a lot of hopes with the president on that. Let me be sincere. But the issue came in when, I was chatting with him and I was like, it is just a state capture in another form. And his reply, he was a very staunch Kenya Kwanza supporter. His reply was, same forest, same monkey business.
Wow.
So the thing is, I will tell you, let us be sincere. If DPP, get to know the journey of DPP. Go back to YK 92. You will find his face and name there.
Yes.
Look at who are in government now. People who are in YK 92. And before I went to the meeting ARAMA, and by the way, I finished an hour meeting, and it has been so resourceful within that period. I hope this meeting and what we discuss here will be as resourceful as what we discussed in that meeting. 1 hour, bang, all that. So, look, if DPP, if there were issues with corruption, if there were issues with the former regime on matters state capture, all those people were involved. DPP were in the other was in the other regime, right? DCI was in the other regime, right? The police, what is the name of the guy who resigned?
Mutambai. Yes.
Yeah, Mutiambai was in the other regime, right? If there were issues with these people in state capture before, even the EPP himself would have left.
Yes.
Why leave him, or why him? How saint is he that he can stay and now get rid of all this? Why did he come out then saying this year is not doing his job? These people don't have a case to answer. He would have come out. You know, he's independent. He works separately. He prosecutes things that are truthful. He's a truthful man. He should be the truthful man in Kenya, right?
Yes.
Remember the issue of people who used to work with the State House. You know, I know even the guy who does the writing for State House was once laid off with the now MP for the lady who had some relationship with one of the ministers now. They were laid off, but immediately when the government came in, you know, they were reinstated and they are now working. If DPP would tell us, all those people, even including mtu mwenye aliiba kuku, ilikuwa uongo, na hiyo makesi zimetolewa na handle cases zote mpaka za everyone, then we can come and say, look, it seems it's good. But when I saw Waluke issue, when Waluke went to support Kenya Kwanza, his case was brought back.
Yes.
When he won. When he went back to whatever chairman won, his case was resolved.
Yes.
Now when he's in a different party, his case has been, you know, reinstated. All these things, the integrity of the DPP is in question. It is questionable. Let him come out and tell us what was the issue of these people, why were they being prosecuted. Why is he laying them off? Give us a true picture. Let him also explain why didn't he, at the point of time when these people are facing all this, why did he come out and say, look, these things are not there. This is my position. Let me resign. If people are saying that, you know, when you are a truthful man and when you're talking the truth and you're serving justice, you're even ready. I remember there's a time some member of parliament said, it was Kimunya, I rather die than resign. So you would have said, I rather resign than even to work with a government that is not giving justice to the people. And we would have said, look, this is the person we want, this is the individual we want in Kenya, this is how we fight corruption. You cannot fight corruption with side shot, you cannot fight corruption with just selective justice application in terms of whom are your friends and who are not.
Yes.
So let us be sincere. I don't see any changes going forward in terms of corruption. We all have to be optimistic, but on this one, I beg to differ.
Yeah.
And the next 5 years is the same thing.
Oof. Man. All right. LM, I see your hand. Go.
I think, first of all, I just want, Alfred, I think I don't have a problem with you. I think you are playing safe, and it's good to actually, to criticize is a right. But I only have a problem with my brother Ombui, because Ombui is saying ati serikali ni ya mama mboga. So Ombui, I think he escaped with this, trying to say that this serikali has not taken care of mama mboga. Ombui, it is true, my mom, who is mama mboga, was involved in voting, but perhaps actively in the campaigns, in the planning and execution, maybe she was not involved. Now, we should not take the issue of mama mboga literally being in the government. I think being in the government and being part of the government, it means being a beneficiary of this government, because the truth is, all people, there is capacity building. Yes, perhaps mama mboga down there, there are people who are educated down there, but it's going to take a little while to collect this data and know who is educated and who can fit where. So for now, the people we know who are the front line, it is people like wanajua kutingiza kiuno kama Aisha Jumwa. You didn't see my mom kutingisha kiuno pale, even if she's Mama Mboga. So the idea of trying to castigate this government, that this government is not inclusive, the fact that they are starting baby steps of, for example, CRB, we know what it means when you're in a credit bureau. Sometimes there are certain even jobs here in abroad you cannot get.
Yes.
So the fact they are starting there, they are starting to address. I said something here that when Obama came to government, there was a great recession in the United States, and it took some time before the economy normalized. Also, in terms of this, the prosecution and so on, remember, even within the prosecution, you need to know there's something called judicial pretrial sessions. The pretrial sessions, they are usually involve either the defense, the crown, the defense lawyer, the crown, and sometimes the police officers to go and evaluate whether or not this case has merit to proceed or to be given worthy time of the court. So if they find that by any chance this case does not meet or is not worthy to be given the time of the honorable court, actually that's what is called, then by any chance it doesn't proceed, it can get dismissed or you can get to a certain sort of agreement. So it is a system. Sometimes there's no fairness. Even Jesus was righteous, but we ended up sacrificing him. So there's nothing like fairness in this world, and the law is not fair. And that's why you see, when you look at if you have read something called Lady Justice, you will see what the Lady Justice is carrying and the symbolic meaning of it. And then you will come to understand the law is not fair. Yes, we do have systems, but as much as we have as much as we have the systems, the truth is our country is far from fulfilling and getting to the threshold countries that are like 200 years old at the level they have gotten. So we are trying, and we are very progressive. The DPP works hand in hand with other police officers, and I can tell you, I had a family issue where family members could go and destroy my stuff. And you know what happened, Mr. Rama? The policemen would come, will go report, the police will come, they get compromised from the other end, they come to the site, and they say, oh, okay, kaini na amani. They go back and they write a statement, and they wait the time, they will tell you we are taking this case. At the end of it, they will say lack of evidence. So the evidence has been destroyed. Don't forget that handling of evidence, the capacity, the capacity of our police and enforcement agencies, law enforcement agencies, they don't have sometimes the capacity, and in very many ways. But that is not an excuse. Now Ruto came in and gave money to the judiciary to expedite these cases so that there is fair trial and access to justice. And now we are condemning him. And there's this thing, ARAMA, that if you are a son of the president, what is wrong for you to be appointed in a ministry? Your fathers worked so hard to serve this country. And now if you are appointed, unaweza kusema wameappoint mtoto wake. Kwani huyo mtoto si Kenyan citizen? Is he not entitled to the same opportunities like you? So what do you want the president to do, Mr. Sana, Mr. Burundi? What do you want the president to do?
All right, okay. Wow, you guys, this has been a very engaging discussion. Sadly, we have to get to the stage of final remarks. We still have challenges in our country in so many ways, but we always have to remain hopeful. The president gave some promises during campaigns. We're still willing to give him the time to implement them, but also we still reserve the right to critique, push, encourage, raise voices until those promises are actually kept. And Elema, I agree with you. It's not necessary for the Mama Mboga to be appointed in cabinet, but for the environment to be created for them to flourish. I know when everybody succeeds, I don't care who is the president. If all of us are going to do well, then that's fine. But if the president doesn't do right, then all of us suffer. Whether you supported him or you didn't, we are all still going to suffer. And if the president succeeds in the policies and makes the country better, all of us, whether you supported him or not, as long as you're a Kenyan, you are going to benefit. That is the point. But that does not mean you criticizing or challenging or saying, hey, I see an issue with this. It does not translate that you are being anti-government, quote unquote. So guys, as we come to the conclusion of our show today, let me give you real quick, just a minute, please, to give your final thoughts, final remarks, and then we can wind down the show and call it a day. So Mr. Mbauni, I know you have been quiet for some time. Let me start with you. Give us your final comments or final thoughts.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, hii issue ya corruption, unless we start from the school, tuonyeshe mtoi akiwa mdogo venye consequences za corruption.
Yeah.
But sasa unashangaa tunaitanga corruption, by the way, ukuwa na majina mbili. It depends on which side you are.
Yeah.
Ukitaka kuwa corrupt, utaita connection. But ikikugeuka unaita corruption. So hiyo na ni kitu moja tu unarifa uko na connection kule kwa sijui kwa governor.
Yeah.
But you just want to say na ndio inaitwa tu deal. So hizo mambo zianze kuongelewa mpaka kwa shule, wazazi wakikuwa nyumbani nao waongee like generation. Hapa Mungu hawezi tusaidia. Ni sisi, we work on it.
Yeah.
You don't go to church to start begging God to stop corruption. It's you to work on your character. From there, tukichaguana, tuangalie ni nani huyo tumechagua. Though we still need the EACC to be also sanitized. Wao ndio watatuonyesha watu wenye corrupt. So wakisema sijui nani ni corrupt, kila mtu atakuchukua hivyo. Angalia venye Ruto aliambiwa ati huyu jamaa amekuwa corrupt, ni mwizi. So kila mtu anajua hivyo. Na ndio statement ile unasikia wakisema ati Ruto haongei mambo ya corruption. I mean, hata kama mimi ni yeye siwezi ongea juu, si mnajua mimi ni corrupt. Why should I speak even? I can just work on it. So even ndivyo tu naweza kasema.
Thank you. All right. Let's go next. That will be Bwana Sang.
Okay. My final thoughts.
Yes.
Okay, fine. I think first of all, we need to give this government some time. Actually, from the next 3 months, we can be able to check whether this government is functioning or not. Because now I think people, the government is still in the season of setting up the government. So once that one has been put in place, so within the next 100 days, we can be able now to debunk and see is this government seriously really working for the common mwananchi or not. You see? Another thing is I'll look furthermore on diaspora engagement, on how really this ministry, this department can be able to work and meet our expectations, or at least take us to a level whereby we can be able to say we have a functional department, and it has changed our lives as diaspora people in some way or another. Okay, I wouldn't take that what some of my colleagues here were saying, we don't expect much in this government. But for me, I tend to be optimistic and think in line that yes, government might not do much, but at least something can be done. So, and that is where I'm hoping and thinking that it can. Finally, I think our major problem has been issue of corruption, and now you see the China government has slapped us with a ban of 1.3 billion shillings, which is, you can imagine 1.3 billion shillings taken from Kenyan economy.
Yes, it's a lot of money.
Yes, and that is only fines. We've not touched with the principal repayment of that loan, and this happened as a result of wrong planning and corruption that took place during the tendering process of all this issue of SGR, and that's where the problem is. So,
yes,
if we can be able, if Kenyan government can be able to deal much on this issue of corruption, because this is the biggest cancer in our country, the country can open up. You can imagine right now, Joel, we inject 1.3 billion into Kenyan economy right now.
Yeah.
Even my mother in the village will feel that yes, there is a change in there's something that has been injected into the economy. So, and those are the things that we need to work on. Fight this corruption. Though the president has not spoken much about fighting this corruption, but I hope, since he has disengaged all these institutions so that they can be independent, unlike the previous regime whereby institutions were largely dependent with the office of the president, I hope now people can be able to execute their mandate independently, and that is why during this government, if you will not perform, you will be asked why you have not performed, because we've given you resources to do the job. And I'm not into that thing that William Ruto has instigated the plans of these people, these corruption charges that have been acquitted. But I think these corruption charges were largely politicized, political instigated cases during that regime, which is a long gone story now. So I look forward to, though we are in a challenging time, we are still in transition, but I hope things will change. Otherwise, looking forward, we need to have a serious diaspora engagement. We need to go off air and discuss issues that really affect us and how best we can be able to come up. Even we can form our own circle. We can think of what level of investment can we be able to do. We channel our resources towards there. And we have a plan. We can have a plan on how we can be able to build ourselves. I think that's the best thing we can be able to do as diaspora people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bwana Sang. All right, Bwana LM, coming to you.
Asante sana, because I really wanted to speak before my brother Bernard Birundi.
Okay.
So I just wanted to tell my brother Bernard, throughout this discussion, I know he's a diehard of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. And I want him, I had promised in other forums to buy a stool for the Right Honorable Amolo Odinga for Bunge la Mwananchi. Now that he will be a frequent visitor there. But more often, I wanted to speak into and ask my brother to go and read what is called ideology, crime, criminal justice, where the rich get richer when the poor get to prison. So I really want him to read about that, and somehow it will help him to understand that the social capital that I think, I don't know who was talking about that, the social capital really matters. Raila, William Ruto, Uhuru, children, they can never be poor, they can never lack, because they have created a social network. Even though they fight in the public, if Raila's son walks to William Ruto's office, he will be accorded maximum attention and will be given every support that they need. And also, I wanted also to point out that this whole hula baloos of we lost, William stole the victory. It is to be remembered that Baba alichezwa, na akakubali akachezwa because he was in the government. I kind of think that all this plot was actually Uhuru was aware, just that they kept baba akakuwa na joto mingi akasahau kujitetea pale. So I think we should focus in the development of our country, because like Saito told us that there comes a time when a nation is greater than an individual. We should focus that in making sure that our nation is greater than those individuals that we are talking about. Raila is not a poor person. Raila can walk any part of this country and still the gates will be open. Myself and my brother here, we can walk and tutafungiwa milango. Kwa hivyo, because I wanted to also challenge my brother Bernard, who is a diehard of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, is an expert, a security expert in IT, cyber security. And I happen to have a background in IT as well. So I wanted to ask him to appreciate the progress, the baby steps, the electoral it's called electoral IBC have made. You know very well when the court said that this is hot hair, they and I will welcome you to speak to that subject matter because you are more experienced than I am, but they had a reason to argue so. You know that there was no record of attempts of unauthorized access to the IBC. And this time, Raila didn't have excuse of saying fungua server, because anyone could do tallying from their vehicles, from anywhere. And this was the brilliancy of IBC in ensuring that there is no excuse to incite the Kenyans to destroy property and bring our economy, to destabilize our economy. And lastly, let us allow, the government is realigning itself. Let us wait for 2027. It's not very far. Na kama 2027 ikifika, we will support your candidate. If not, lacha pumzike pale Bondo. Tufanya nini? Wheelbarrow tulimnunulia, tutampeleka pale. Na hivi karibuni we will talk with William Samoei Ruto. We will keep him busy so that he can market us across Africa, because we want to network in Africa. He has the capacity, and that's where he fits. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Bona LM. Just a correction.
Chairman.
Yes, Alfred.
I would donate my time before the final people give their final submission to a friend called Daniel Pate.
Okay.
Who just joined in, and I think he had joined in earlier, but he didn't get a chance. So I'm gonna donate my final submission time for him, because he got something to do with health that we were discussing on it earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I saw him and then he dropped off before I could get to him. But okay, go ahead. Let's give him a chance to say something. Bwana Daniel, karibu.
He's not on.
All right. I'll wait for him to come back up. Just want to make a slight correction with LM. The IBC was actually following the ruling of the Maraga Code on how to run election and how to put the results. So slight correction, not that what you said was not accurate. I thank that Supreme Court for that ruling, because it really turned on a lot of things. So, Ombui, let me come to you while I'm waiting for Daniel to come back online, and then he can get a chance to speak. Ombui, your final thoughts.
Okay.
Yes.
ARAMA,
Yes.
I would like to advise Mr. hata kama ni kazi anatafuta pole pole.
I like this.
Kazi itafutu namna hiyo, lakini ni sawa tu. I understand. Anaweza kuwa PS wa diaspora affairs.
Okay. Yeah.
I would like to start with the
hiyo ni kazi yangu, wachaneni nayo kabisa.
Yeah. So
yes.
I would like to start with diaspora. We the diaspora people are the most hardworking people.
Yes.
We send a lot of funds to Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter whether you send it to your parents, to your relatives, to your family. At the end of the day, it is taxed.
Yes.
So the government should put more effort. We need to see a difference this time around. Since now the word diaspora has been appended on the Ministry of Affairs, we want to see an action on that term. So as much as I don't have much strong hopes on that. I hope that we are going to see a difference. On the Saudi Arabia issue, we must always speak about it. And I am happy that ARAMA, you are bringing the issue of diaspora every week.
Yes.
We must talk about this issue until we see our sisters in Saudi Arabia, because I know it's only ladies who get the hugest blunt of the Saudi Arabians human beings.
Yes.
Not Mbauni. Mbauni might be having a peace of mind. So we need to keep agitating for this to see a change to these young ladies who are misguided, who are blackmailed, and they end up in a hot pot. About corruption. Corruption is the biggest animal in Kenya. And I want to correct some.
Yeah.
That corruption cases are the most hardest cases in any country.
Yeah.
Not in Kenya, in any country. So, Sang, please don't justify that corruption cases should be the easiest. They should take a very short period of time. The most hardest cases, even more than murder, are the corruption cases. Because those guys, they are very cunning, they are very smart. Wanapelekewa pesa kwa gunia na wana make sure hakuna mtu ako na simu, hakuna CCTV karibu, na hawataki mambo ya pesa kudipostiwa kwa bank. Wanataka wapelekewa na sats. Vile Ngiriti alikuwa anapelekea this lady Waigoro. Because they don't want to leave any paper trail which can indict them. Na wakati hiyo kesi imeenda koti, those guys are loaded with money. They can hire a lawyer, they can threaten judges. So that's why you see these cases take longer time. Even the judges, some of them fear for their lives. Some of them are bribed to beat justice. So what is happening currently in Kenya is a manipulation of the judiciary or the justice system to make sure these guys who have been appointed for senior positions are allowed to go on with their swearing in and become the CS for the Ruto government. There's nothing short of that. And I want my brothers to speak the same language they were speaking before Ruto became the president. I don't know why they are shifting goals now until I'm not even understanding what corruption term means. We have to stand on what we believe and fight for it. It doesn't matter whether it's what you support, the government you support, or the government you don't support. At the end of the day, you are going to be in trouble. Let me give you an example. Some of the guys who have been fighting against guns, against reforms on guns in America, some of them, they were fighting against, but when one of their family is shot, that's when they feel the pain. And that's when they come out and confess. And they say, we must fight against normal citizens or common citizens owning rifles. But before, they were not. Wait until some of your close family members, that's when you come out speaking again. Fight it from now and continue fighting until this corruption issue comes to an end.
Yes, we're gonna take care of it. We're gonna
Yes.
take care of it. We're gonna keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going about it. So, who's next?
Can I finish, please? So the next thing is about CS qualifications. I don't support those panelists who are saying education should not be considered when somebody is appointed as a CS. Education is very important because being a CS, you are going to make policies that are going to be implemented all over the country. You are the advisor to the president. So even here in the US, most of the CS cabinet secretaries, the minimum qualification they probably have is a degree. So we are not going to sway our preferences according to what we are convinced with or to what favors us. We must stand straight and say qualifications is a must. If you don't qualify, you don't.
Okay, Bernard, let me make you understand. We are closing. It should be a closing remarks. See 20 minutes.
No, and that I'm giving.
Maliza tuende.
Yes, I'm giving a summary of what we discussed. That's why I'm talking in points form. So
this is your points form?
Yes. So
2 minutes. Just let him finish.
Yeah. Yeah. So my fellow panelists, let us please, as we are given an opportunity to air views to many Kenyans, let us stand for what we believe is right in stewarding our country forward. Thank you, Chairman. And
okay, Santi.
Don't allow people to interrupt others when they are talking. And next time, please limit our time because some of us stay 20 minutes waiting for others to finish talking. Otherwise, you are doing a very great job.
Thank you, guys. So I see Bwana Daniel is back online. Daniel, let me give you a chance to give you a few remarks. Then I have my last two people to talk, and then we conclude the show. And Karibu to the show. My apologies for not getting you on time. You're muted. Daniel, you're muted. You're still muted.
Arama, are you not able to help him unmute?
No, I don't think I have control. Let me see.
He's still on mute.
Yeah, I can't.
Yes, there you are. Can you hear me now?
Yes. All right.
Okay. I am a trained public speaker, so I'll take exactly 1 minute, 25 minutes. I've done this over and over again. My name is Daniel Pate, and I'm a Kenyan who is based in Perth, very close friend to Alfred. I run a charity called Made in Sure. Now, every time I talk about the Kenyan community, I always ask people, give us 3 solutions. Kenya does not need so many ideas. We are 15 million. We just need, keeping it simple, solutions. Solution number 1, 80% of Kenyans don't have an NHIF card. It's 500 shillings. Let's just assume that they don't have the money. Solution number 2, that's a basic thing. We just need to figure out how 15 million people ended up not having health insurance. Number 2, the World Bank has been able, of a project that I was able to get involved with, was able to put in 2,500 beneficiaries per county. Okay, what are the counties doing? Let's say the counties can do 5,000. Well and good. We depend on money from Wazungu. We can do better. Solution number 3, we all know that food security is an issue. We just need to go back to our villages and find a way of producing more food. So on the forum, I am actually producing food in Busia, and I'm going to be producing food in Budalangi. Let's go to the most arid areas, and we as young Kenyans try and change the paradigm. Some of us are too much used to Kitale, Eldoret, Nairobi. Let's go to Turkana and then lead from there. Of course, it is not viable if you are broke. It is not viable if you don't have the resources. So you need to put the right people your way. So finally, philanthropically, each one of us know that Kenya has 46,000 villages. Maybe we should start naming those villages. Instead of naming leaders, political leaders, let's name our villages. We have a physical address that we belong. My 1.5 minutes is over. Thank you so much for the moderator. You are a good gentleman, and I honor you for having these conversations.
I think I know this dude, man.
Thank you so much, Bwana Daniel, and welcome again next week. We can continue this conversation in a more deeper sense. Thank you so much, and Karibu.
Humble.
Doro, let me come to you, and then I'll finish up with Keja, and then we can wrap up the show. Thank you.
Wow, Mr. Daniel, I want to be like you when I grow up.
Oh, humbled. Just come to Budalangi, we eat a lot of fish.
Oh, Munyala.
Oh, oh, you're from Busia. Okay, cool. I'm not too far from you. But anyway,
Thank you.
yeah, the thing is, I appreciate the way you've handled the time aspect here, because Kenyans tuko na shida sana na hiyo. So I'll try to emulate you. I'll speak for 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I've listened to everybody's arguments. Everybody's so stuck and rotating on the inaitwaje hiyo corruption. Sasa hii imekuwa corruption and connection. Hata mimi nimepata I'm corrupt very, I'm very corrupt. Because I have connections.
Yeah.
So I have to accept anyway, truth of the matter, that's what it is. It's going to be, if someone is going to try to take corruption out of Kenya right now, they will succeed for our grandchildren to enjoy those fruits, not us. And that is true. It's so sad. I can't tell you that the deputy president, even if he comes and applies godly virtues and everything in State House, that he will just wipe out corruption. No, it's going to, he can start wiping it out. It's going to take maybe 3-4 other presidents for corruption to be totally wiped out of Kenya, and we will be holy people. So hiyo ni shida. Hata tuache tu kuongea kwa sababu I think even the president himself doesn't even know what to say about it. So let's just leave that alone and pray to God. And I'm honored to be in this group. Asanteni sana for listening to me. And hold on, Misse, you need to stop that business of analyzing what was said in the Supreme Court and how we were told. That is old news. Let's cut that off, please. Thank you.
Most guided, Doro. Going forward, we don't want to hear there's milk crying fall, so I'm most guided. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Doro, you good?
Yes, hey, I had 2 minutes. Daniel is watching me.
Okay. All right, Keja.
Hey, what's up? There are two things. In America, they say, never trust a man with a suit.
Oh.
Because it's working for somebody. Never trust a man in a suit because he's working for somebody.
Yeah.
Never trust a man who's dressed up because he's working for somebody. That's all I can say.
All right.
Have I done it by 2 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I just wanted to finish this with
ARAMA, please.
Yes.
The member must withdraw that statement because some of us might think that we are dressed up and we are not. Our reputation is at stake here.
At stake.
Should we come with vests and T-shirts? So the member must withdraw or clarify.
I will give him a chance next time to clarify. I just wanted to finish this session with just a slight humor. A friend of mine posted a screen capture of Dr. Miguna Twitter feed.
Yeah.
And he said, Okoth Obado is next. Impregnating a woman is not a crime. There is zero evidence that Okoth Obado murdered Ochieno. I said zero. And then, as usual, Kenyans will never fail. Somebody responded and said, equally, there is no evidence that you were tortured, maimed, and then deported, as you allegedly claim. You took poison in a bid to commit suicide, then you took away to avoid arrest. So that's my slight humor for today. Just to end on a light note. Thank you guys so much for participating. Thank you so much for your contributions. Let's meet again to have a lively discussion. I appreciate you. Thank you, my guys at the studio. And by the way, guys, before I finish up, just to let you know, we are working trying to coordinate once the seniors have been to get Dr. Alfred Mutua to this show so that we can talk to him and express our views. So let's start getting organized and get our points together and use our time effectively to put our points across to him and make sure that we get this diaspora desk going in the right direction, the way we want it to. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed morning.
Quick question.
Yes.
Arama. Is Miguna on his way?